The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Adam Schein's got a bold prediction for the New York Jets, and we'll tell you whether or not he's out of his mind. That and much more is what we're talking about. Gunny from NY Jet Situation Report returns to the show. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
We sitting in here, we excited as hell.
Now it's time to get to work. Are you a happy guy?
Oh my goodness, let's go!
I haven't felt joy talking about the Jets in a long time. When they announced it, I went, yeah! Let's go! A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show presented by PrizePicks. Reminder, get your pain hats. They are on sale now. Snapbacks, dad caps. It's there for you at jakeasman.com/shop. Plus, we got the pain t-shirts available as well. Same place, jakeasman.com/shop. Let's give some love to Frank P., who sent in the super chat before the show. Just received my pain hat. Love it. Thank you, Jake. Shout out to Frank P. for being the first Asmaniac that I've seen to get their merch they ordered and send me a photo of them rocking it. So shout out to you, Frank P., for supporting the program. Right now, let's say hello to our good friend, someone I knew very well when I lived down in H-Town. He's holding it down for us. It's Gunny from NY Jets Situation Report. Gunny, how hot is it in H-Town?
Jake, it is 103 degrees today.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you already know with the humidity in Houston, it's a lot hotter than that, man. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm breathing in water. You know what I'm saying? We're surviving out here. It is what it is. But glad to be on the show, brother, man. Appreciate the invite.
Well, it's always good to catch up with you, my man. I mean, how you feeling about this Jets team? I mean, there's some positive momentum, dare I say, after that performance Friday night?
Yeah, I got to admit, man, it's coming along better than I think the majority of us could imagine. And I get it. It's only preseason. And like every year, this is what Jets fans do. We see the preseason, we see the offseason, we see the draft, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the year we turn things around. But there's some components this season that you really got to love in regards to how they're putting in the work. They're really, really quiet. This isn't like the Jets of old where it's being like glamorized in terms of like, oh, it's the New York Jets. We're not all over social media. We're quietly just putting in the work. And to me, you're seeing some of that kind of come to fruition during these preseason games, kind of seeing these pieces come together. And I got to tell you, man, I'm a little bit excited, more excited about what this team could potentially achieve than I was coming into the preseason.
Let's just hope that Geno Smith is protected, he stays healthy, and he looks a lot like he did Friday night. What are your thoughts on Geno? I mean, have you warmed up to the idea of him being our quarterback for the season, Gunny?
Yeah, well, listen, I think coming into the season, right, we all had other options. Jacoby Brissett was pretty big on some individuals. Some people were talking about Kyler Murray because he was available. Geno Smith has slowly come along. I don't know if I'm going to be the guy that's on the same bandwagon as our coach AG talking about he's taking us to the promised land. But in terms of the best options available, let's be honest, man, there wasn't many for us to choose from during free agency and in the offseason. And I think Geno was one of the better options. Now you're seeing what he did, in the preseason. Now, granted, it's been up and down during training camp. So there were some concerns throughout training camp. But when the bullets were flying live, on Friday night, you're talking about him going against that Pittsburgh Steelers defense, 7 for 7, he was perfect, got a touchdown, boom, got him out of there. He looked confident. He looked like the Geno Smith of potentially the Seahawks. I get it. It's just preseason, but you got to give credit where credit is due. He looked efficient. He looked confident. The offense was just chumming along, and he passed the ball around too, right? I know there was some concerns even on my part that he was focusing a lot on A.D. Mitchell during training camp and preseason, training camp, and of course the OTAs. But everybody got some love. He was able to get the ball passed around. Everybody touched the ball, and then they got into the end zone. So Geno Smith definitely took a notch. Like I'm a bit higher now on what this season could potentially be with Geno Smith at the helm.
I'll give you a guy who's very high on Geno and apparently the Jets. That's our friend Adam Schein, who on his Sirius XM radio show said that no matter what happens this year, Gunny, it is a win-win for the Jets. I'll play the clip and you tell me if Adam Schein is out of his mind or he might be onto something.
I think the Jets, by the way, are going to be pretty good this year. Seriously. I think the New York Jets are going to start season 2-0. I think they're going to beat Tennessee. I think they're going to beat the Green Bay Packers. That's a week 2 game at home. It'll be the home opener for the Jets where Micah Parsons doesn't play. That is my bold prediction. Aaron Glenn's going to call the defense. He's a terrific defensive coordinator. Frank Reich is now running the offense. I'm a big Geno Smith fan. I think he's going to be good, solid. I think Garrett Wilson's going to have a monster year. I thought they did a brilliant job in terms of weapons on offense. I thought they really improved the defense. They improved the leadership, Demario Davis. They did an excellent job. Darren Muji did in the offseason. Let's say things spiral. Let's say Robert Saleh sticks it to his old team and Tennessee wins and Brian Daboll and Cam Ward light them up in week 1. Let's say Jordan Love throws for 4 touchdowns and the Packers beat the hell out of the Jets in week 2. Worst case scenario, Cade Klubnik's going to get reps. Cade Klubnik, who I like a lot as a backup quarterback with the potential to start, is going to play. And this team is going to be set up for their next offensive-minded head coach and quarterback who's going to be playing in college football this year. That's what we're talking about. So either Aaron Glenn shows he knows what the hell he's doing, or he's done. And you fire him, and that's going to be, dare I say, an attractive job.
Adam Schein with a similar take to what I've been saying for months about this show and about the state of the Jets. Here's the bottom line. I don't think the Jets are going to be pretty good. I hope I'm wrong. They start 2-0. I will be giddy. I hope that happens. I think we all could use some hopium being injected into us to start the year, but that would surprise me. I agree more with the back half of his comments there, though, Gunny, because I do think this is an attractive job if Glenn can't figure it out. You have 3 first-round picks. The roster's in pretty good shape, big picture. You have a lot of cap space. You're in position to, I think, be one of the best openings. It's still New York. The owner's not afraid to pay you. And, again, it will depend on the quarterback class in college football this year if it lives up to the hype. But you'd have to imagine the Jets will be in position to get one of the guys that emerges. So I think it's an attractive job. What say you? What do you make of those comments there from Adam Schein?
Yeah, look, Sean is always an entertaining cat, right? Like, you love watching him. He talked about freaking the Aaron Rodgers versus Sam Darnold Super Bowl a couple years back. The guy is definitely one for the hot takes. And you know what? I'm not surprised by this one either. Look, in terms of the Jets beating the Titans, I think that's very realistic, especially after what we saw last night. If the Jets lose to the Titans, I'm actually concerned. Because you're talking about the starting offense and defense going up against the backups of Seattle, and they look putrid. They look like freaking Robert Saleh is definitively coaching that team. I think that this should be a great test for the Jets coming out, and I kind of feel like it is a must-win kind of a situation because this is the guy facing off against the guy we fired and whatnot. So I think that's real. Green Bay, that's going to be a challenge, man. And I get it. They're not going to have, their stud edge rusher and Michael Parsons. But it's still Green Bay. They've got the quarterback figured out. They've got the coaching figured out. They've got the offense kind of like humming already. They've looked pretty good so far in the preseason. I think that would be a reach to start off 2-0. But again, you might surprise somebody, right? It's very possible the Jets could surprise somebody. The Packers have started off slow the last couple of years. So again, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I'm with you on this one, man. You and I both kind of came into this season on the same page in terms of the Jets aren't going to be very good this year. Not so much in regards to like the talent per se. It's just the coaching was so horrendous last year.
You can't believe in
it. Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
And we rooted for him. I wanted him to be a success story. You were happy about him but for this team to be successful, like you've brought it up, I think as well, this has to be an anomaly in terms of him turning things around. Now, I'm rooting for that. I hope that we are wrong and we're on the shows in a couple of months looking dumb. People are going to talk crap about us. So be it. It is what it is. We're Jets fans first. People don't realize this. We're Jets fans first. If the Jets wind up winning and we were wrong, I assure you we're going to be some of the happiest fans there are out there. It's just it'll be a statistical anomaly for AG to turn around what we witnessed last year. But let's just say he doesn't and the job is open. I agree with Sheen. I do. I think this is one of the more exciting options because you're not just talking about the youth on this roster. There's some talented young guys on this roster. The offensive line is pretty much a top 10 offensive line in the league. I don't care what that freaking weird survey said, top 21. This is a top 10 league in terms of your tackles are solidified. You've got some talent in the interior. You've got the running back. You've got the wide receivers. You've got the tight end room now pretty tight. This is going to be a favorable position for a young quarterback to come in and be successful. And mind you, like you said, you've got those 3 first-round picks incoming. I think at least a couple of them are going to be in the top 10. I'm hoping the Colts pick is a top 3 pick. I'm saying knock on wood. Hopefully Sauce can deliver on that for us. But then you also got, I think, the 3rd highest cap space going into the season. There's so much to work with here. And like you said before, man, Woody's going to pay you. He's going to pay you. And I'm hoping this time to go with an offensive-minded guy. That's the goal. But it's going to be a very attractive job. Like, don't get it twisted. And the bar isn't high. The bar isn't high. You come in here and you get us to the playoffs, we'll build you a statue. Like, you're talking about a very exciting job option for somebody who's an up-and-coming coach. You have a lot to work with and a lot of assets in the future. I just hope that Muji winds up being the guy that gets to pick his guy. But again, that's a different conversation for a different time, perhaps. But yeah, I agree with Sheen to an extent that it is a very attractive job. I don't know if the Jets are going to go on this miraculous run, though, to where like they're winning 10 games and making it to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I don't see that. Again, I hope it happens. They better win week 1, especially against Robert Saleh and the Titans. So we'll be down there in Nashville. As everyone knows, all the info for our Barstool Nashville event and for our Sunday tailgate is linked in the description. Again, if you look at this team, Gunny, roster-wise, I think the GM has done a good job at least making this team respectable, where if you get quality coaching, this should be a scrappy 8-win team. I don't think that's crazy. Like, I'm not settling for 7-10 when I saw Saleh with Zach Wilson do that multiple years in a row. Win 8 games, and then, all right, I'll be really impressed by what we saw from Glenn. Get off to a good start. Like, the wins and who they're against and when they're against and the timeline of the year, that matters as well. For you specifically, because this is the first time I've had you on the show in a while, what do you want to see from Glenn where you'd be like, yep, he's our coach going into 2027?
Honestly, man, I kind of want to see what we've seen thus far in the preseason kind of continue onward, right? We're talking about a defense that looks competent. Those guys aren't making mistakes. They're running to the ball. They're playing team defense across the board. The offense looks like it's got things figured out. You're seeing them move the ball down the field methodically. Again, it's just preseason, but if he's able to kind of continue this on into the regular season, I think we understand now that, okay, he's actually learned from year 1. He's made adjustments as necessary, and now we're seeing this team kind of progress. Again, it's highly improbable that this is going to be the guy just based off of what we saw last year. But again, this is why you play these games on Sundays, right? Any given Sunday, things could happen. And he has the opportunity here to kind of go ahead and kind of like turn things around for this organization. And again, the pieces, I think, are here. I'm with you, man. I think 7 to 8 wins, it should be the bar. I think if we're going to keep Aaron Glenn as the head coach of the New York Jets, 7 to 8 wins should be the bar. And we're talking about, like, not just scrappy, but you're competitive in those games that you did lose. We understand right now that you might not have the franchise quarterback. You might have a guy in Geno Smith that can go ahead and play quarterback, but you don't have a franchise guy. I know some individuals want to go ahead and see Cade go out there already. Let the kids sit down, man. Again, you like what you see thus far, but I don't think we're there yet to where you need to see Cade Klubnik going out there. But again, if we can get 7 to 8 wins out of Aaron Glenn, and those losses that we did get, like you stated, were some of those scrappy games that were entertaining, they were competitive, right? We weren't getting embarrassed on Sundays. I think he's earned the opportunity to go ahead and beat a guy that takes a shot at next year. I'm concerned about it because if this happens to be a fluke, right, we're giving Aaron Glenn, in essence, 3 first-round picks, a bunch of money to go ahead and try to beat a guy, and then maybe he's not the guy. You're talking about a prime opportunity right now for you to go ahead and make this job very, very attractive because of how many assets you currently have at your disposal. But that's my only concern about that I don't want it to be a fluke, which is why, like you stated, it has to be where we're watching him win these games, but even in the games he loses, he looks competent and this team looks scrappy. It can't just be a couple of fluke wins that he was able to get to 7 wins. No. if he's getting blown out by teams, simply getting blown out by, or getting blown out in general, I feel like there should still be a conversation of whether or not he's the guy. Because again, the amount of assets we currently have is one of those things that can go ahead and make it a war chest and an enticing war chest for an incoming coach, potentially the coach of your pick, if Glenn is not the guy.
Doesn't it feel like so much of their season is based on the result of week one? Like, I could see them winning and we get a fun year or better than we expect, or they lose that game, Gunny, and it's, oh boy, here we go again. Last year it was 0-7. This year it's going to be another spiral where you play the Packers, Lions, and Bears. I could just see it now. That game in Nashville really having such a swing one way or another based on the result of how it unfolds.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, listen, I got on my show about a month ago, right, when the schedule kind of came out, and I kind of went out there and kind of stated that this week one game is definitely like a must win in my opinion, because it kind of sets the tone, right? And I think in your show a few weeks back as well, you said the same exact thing. This game is going to set the tone for the season. And then now you're seeing podcasters and other individuals for the Tennessee Titans side talking about like this should be an easy win because it's the Jets. And now we're getting pissed off and we're getting really bought into it as a fan base because it's the freaking Titans, for crying out loud. Relax. Like your organization has not been top tier to where you have the audacity to look at the Jets and think, oh man, that should be an easy win. So now it's becoming kind of personal and kind of heated. I do believe week one is a must win. And I think if week one is a win, and if somehow they do sneak in a win in Green Bay, we're going to look at a pretty fun year. I think you're looking at the potential of having a real fun season. However, if we lose that game in week one, even if you win week two, that loss in week one is going to kind of be stagnant in terms of like, okay, yeah, the win against Green Bay was definitively a fluke since we got beat by freaking the Titans. And it can kind of set the precedence on like, yeah, you guys aren't winning the games you should be winning, and you got lucky in some games. Week one is a must win, apparently. It's unfortunately for Aaron Glenn, because that's a game you should win. Right, that matchup is going to be pretty much, I think our team is a bit more talented, so the difference maker should be the coaching. And I don't think Coach Saleh is a great head coach. So this is your opportunity to go ahead and prove that we fired the guy and brought you in as the right guy. Again, it's just a bit of a litmus test, right, to go ahead and kind of get things started. But that week one game, in my opinion, is now a must-win game.
Must win. You heard it here first, folks. Gunny saying it's a must win. I agree. I've only been saying that since the schedule came out, and now everyone's starting to agree with me. So it's funny how that works. The big fella says Titans fans have zero idea on what's coming. I'll tell you, the amount of Jet fans making this trip, it's going to be something special if they can win this game.
I'm so salty, man. Like, again, I was just telling you before this, man, I had tickets already identified. One of my best friends who was in the Marine Corps with me, worked together on recruiting duty, he's a Titans fan, right? So we had tickets. We were supposed to be meeting up. And then I started my MBA this year. And unfortunately, the weekend of the season opener, I have to be in class. So I can't make the trip. But I'm thinking more and more like, man, if I just missed this first, how bad can it really be? But my educational counselor's already told me I can't miss any in the first semester. And it would be literally my third class period that I'd be missing if I went. But I'm with you, man. I don't think Titans fans really understand how this fan base travels. And then on top of that, you've got some of their bigger content creators running their mouths right now, as if their team is like the second coming of like the Tom Brady Patriots or something. You guys are the Titans. You literally have had two quarterbacks drafted in the last 2 out of the last 3 drafts, the 33rd overall pick and the 1st overall pick. You guys have no room to be talking, but they're running their mouths now, and so now it's becoming personal. So they're in for a surprise, I think, when we take over freaking Tennessee for that game.
Hell yeah. Let's go. I mean, look, we know the Jets have been bad, but the Titans hired our coach who was 20-36. Come on. We have to win that game. Right? Just for so many reasons, as everyone knows. Ladies and gentlemen, Gunny Gumby of NY Jet Situation Report is my guest. If you guys have a comment or a question, super chats, we'll cut the line. Let me share the news of our giveaway today. For those of you who are tuned in, your chance to win a signed Joe Klecko helmet at the end of this show. Gift the membership or send a super chat that qualifies to be eligible. And our top prizes in the weekly raffle on Sunday, a signed Joe Namath football, a signed Curtis Martin helmet, and a signed Darrell Revis helmet, all up for grabs. Hall of Fame theme raffle on our show this week. Gunny, I haven't gotten your take on David Bailey yet. Picks up his first career sack in the preseason this past week. looked good in really both games. He's looked good all summer. Are you bullish on David Bailey? What are your thoughts on the expectations for him?
I think David Bailey's doing exactly what we thought David Bailey was going to do, right? The question about David Bailey, I think, when he came out to this draft, wasn't that the guy couldn't get to the quarterback. Clearly, he was one of the better pass rushers in all of college football. The dude was wreaking havoc in regards to getting to the quarterback. And we've seen him do that these last two preseason games. You saw him do it during the joint practices against Tampa Bay, which was actually exciting to go ahead and watch. The dude is definitely showing up where it counts, right? The question has always been his impact in the run game, which is why a lot of us like Arvell Reese over freaking David Bailey, because Arvell Reese gave you a bit of a combination of being able to get to the quarterback, but being impactful and stopping the run. I know Bain was an early favorite of mine as well, who's looked thus far pretty good in the preseason, but those short arms kind of scared us away from really kind of rooting for him being the guy. I think we might have got the right guy in terms of what we're trying to do, right? David Bailey right now is going to be a problem. You've seen him be a problem for everyone he's gone up against, whether it's our own left tackles or right tackle. You've heard Membu say it. You've heard freaking Olu say it. This is the guy that they're having a hard time with and they're struggling with. Then you've seen it in the joint practices against the Luke, whatever the guy's name is, who cried about getting got. And then again, in both preseason games, he's been an impact, whether he's pressuring the quarterback or last Friday, he sacked the quarterback. I'm loving what I'm seeing because you need that guy. And mind you, we don't have our defensive line healthy yet. There's still components of guys who should be in the middle alongside of a guy like David Bailey that are going to demand double teams as well that we currently don't have right now. So what you're seeing right now is him taking on a lot of double teams, specifically in that Tampa game. They were already double teaming freaking David Bailey to slow him down. You love to see that. This is a preseason game, and they're double teaming the kid to slow him down. I'm excited about what this kid can get. I think David Bailey does give us that potential of being a double-digit sack guy. The thing is he going to be a liability for us in like running downs? I know, again, he's so far has showcased he's able to go ahead and be disciplined and set the edge. I just need that to be a consistent constant, right? Not just something that he's kind of fluking right now during the preseason. The bullets start going live in a couple of weeks here. We need to make sure that this is a guy that we can depend on all 3 downs, right? 4 downs if need be. Get after the quarterback, but also don't be a liability in the run. And thus far, he's excelling in both aspects. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. Again, I had David Bailey as my second option. I was definitely Team Arvell Reese. I can admit that. But seeing what he's done thus far, man, it's been impressive to kind of see him hold his own and how much what he was drafted to do, he's doing it very well, getting to the quarterback and disrupting plays.
Would you go more or less on David Bailey's sack number then, Gunny? Because it's at 5.75, meaning does David Bailey get at least 6 sacks if you're going more, or would you go less if you're making a PrizePicks lineup? That's
an easy one. You've got to go more. I think David Bailey will be in that conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year when it's all said and done. I see the kid getting double-digit sacks. Don't forget, guys, there's 17 games in the season, right? And again, we've already seen him be a problem, right, in 2 preseason games when the defensive line isn't all put together yet. We are still missing starters on our defensive line, and this guy has been a problem. I think David Bailey is definitely an over of the 5.75. That's an easy one right there, man. There's an easy prize pick for you guys. Go ahead and hit that more.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it there first. Gunny's saying it. Code HMA. Sign up. Win your first lineup. Get $150 in lineups if you put your first $5 in. I agree because I just think he's too good of a pass rusher right now to not stumble into 6 sacks. It's just like that doesn't feel like a significant enough number for what they're going to be asking him to do. So I'm pumped to see him, and he's looked good so far. I already got my number 31 jersey right here, so I'm all in, baby. Let's go, Bailey Bros. Chino with a super chat. Any news on Sherwood's camp so far? I feel like not a word has been said about him at all. Training camp needs a bounce back season. Hoping he learns from Double D. Sherwood, from what I have heard, has had a solid camp. Nothing too special. I don't think he's resembled the player that he was a couple of years ago. I remember I went to a few training camp practices in 2024, and I felt like Sherwood was the best player on the field in some of them. Like he looked really, really good. He was a perfect fit for Salah's defense. I think he'll be better this year than he was last year. Now, that's not saying much, but he's a hardworking dude. I think last year there was a lot on his plate. The coaching wasn't very good, as we all know. I think not having to call the defense and playing next to Demario Davis is definitely going to help him. So I am expecting a bounce back year from Jamie and Sherwood.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, man. Like it has been pretty quiet in regards to hearing his name during training camp. Not necessarily a bad thing. It just means he's not making any mistakes, but he's also not really popping like he's done in times past. Yeah, last year definitely sets a very low bar. Like it was rough watching him out there. Like he just looked confused. Again, maybe that falls on the fact that there was the coaching change. He was learning a lot. But I think with Demario Davis there, man, and kind of taking some of the brunt of the linebacker work is going to allow him to be more of a kind of like, you know what I'm saying, like think less and just play more. I'm thinking he's going to go ahead and have again, bounce back season, I think is the correct word for it. I'm not calling him a all pro or a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker, but we should see a better outing than what we saw last year. But again, not hearing much about him in training camp, I think thus far just means that, again, not making a lot of mistakes, but he's not popping in terms of like making a lot of plays like he used to in times past. So I'm not 100% worried about that. But again, I guess, again, time will tell. I think he will have a bounce back season as well, though.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. There's a guy named Rusty Rages who was trying to chirp me on Twitter, and I put him in his place. And then he tried to call in and said, I just wanted to see if it would work. The call-in feature. I left because I get nervous. You're not ready for the big leagues, Rusty. All right? You could hide behind your keyboard and try and chirp me online, but you're not ready for the big leagues, clearly. I'm just kidding, Rusty. If you want to call in and get berated on the air, I'd be happy to do that for you. Robert writes in, you see Geno getting another comeback player of the year award. Hey, Chad Pennington won it twice. Now one was with the Dolphins, but if Geno Smith wants to win a comeback player of the year award with the New York Jets, I'd be all for it.
I mean, I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it, right? That means our offense looked pretty good if he's winning that award, comeback player of the year award. I don't know. I don't think that's going to be his story. I think Geno Smith is going to be, an average to above average quarterback for us this year. In that 15 to 17 range, I think, is where he'll probably wind up finally out by the end of the season. I don't see him, having the kind of a resurgence he did with Seattle. Again, you got to remember, man, it's a new offense being implemented, a lot of young guys on that side of the ball. And you're talking about, Garrett Wilson being one of the veteran guys in terms of on the offense. So there's a learning curve you got to take into consideration when it comes to the tight end room, the wide receivers, and because of the youth factor around him, I'm going to say he has a average to above average year, but not enough to go ahead and win comeback player of the year. Although I'd be here for that if that is the case.
I'm rooting for it. I feel better about Geno being good at his job than I do Glenn being good at this job. Because if you saw that recent ESPN story, it's like Glenn was 32nd. I think Geno was like 28th or 29th. Now, Muji was 11 because I actually think he's a good GM, and we'll see, what the future holds for him, maybe getting to hire his own coach. But if you say, hey, you're betting your life, who's going to be better at their respective jobs this year? The head coach, who's considered one of the worst, if not the worst in football, or the quarterback who's considered one of the worst, if not the worst? I think it's clearly Geno Smith, because Geno Smith is, 2 seasons removed from going 10-7 and throwing 4,000 yards. I know Seattle got rid of him, but he's got more of a track record than Glenn does at this point.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think if it boils down to if I'm putting my money on any of whether it's the coach or if it's going to be Geno. I think Geno definitely has the higher ceiling in terms of being able to win the comeback player of the year award. Again, if Aaron Glenn winds up shocking us and he wins any kind of awards for being successful, I'm here for it. I'm rooting for it. But if I'm putting my money on it, definitely be on Geno over Glenn.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gunny is with us here. Comments, questions, your super chats, they cut the line. What's your take on the whole Klubnik situation, Gunny? Have you liked what you've seen from him, and are you comfortable with him being the backup, as it feels like he's going to be the backup going into week 1 against the Titans?
Yeah, man, listen, I think the Klubnik being the backup just makes sense, right? Like you grabbed him in the 4th, and at this point as a Jets organization, we're not Super Bowl contenders, guys. We're not Super Bowl contenders. I don't even think we're playoff contenders. We would love to go ahead and break that streak this year, but I don't think that's going to be our story. So you bring in a guy like Cade Klubnik, who again was not too long ago was considered a first-round talent. First-round talent. He kind of fell off this past year. He says it was due to injuries, but there was a lot of inconsistencies in regards to how he played football in his last season. And I think you bring him in right now as your backup, because if Geno starts to falter, or if Geno goes down and the season is over for the Jets in terms of getting to the playoffs or making a run for it, I think it makes sense to throw the kid in there and see what he's got, right? Now, again, people would say, no, let him sit, let him learn. But we're talking about a 4th-round pick here. And I've been on record as saying this. I don't care if you bring Cade Klubnik out right now and he gets offensive rookie of the year. I don't care if he gets MVP votes. For me, next year, no matter what, you need to go ahead and draft a quarterback. I'm not going to put myself in that situation again where one fluke year gets us all excited and then things come crashing back down to earth, because at the end of the day, he was a fourth round talent for a reason. And the fact is, in the NFL, you have a higher percentage chance of finding a franchise guy in that first and second round than you would in the fourth round, right? So he becomes an anomaly if that happens. I'm not gambling on that. You've got 3 first rounders next year. I don't care if Cade Klubnik is your offensive rookie of the year. You still get a first round quarterback next year no matter what. But I'm on board with seeing what Cade Klubnik does bring to the table if Geno Smith starts to falter. This whole conversation of him being the starter going into the season, like what are we doing, guys? Like we're clearly not there for us to be starting Cade Klubnik over Geno Smith. But I'm not on that boat. But again, if Geno Smith comes out there and he's clearly cooked, like he's done, then yeah, you bring in Cade. He's your QB2. Again, you're not a Super Bowl contending team. Let's see what the kid has. Does he have the potential to potentially run the offense next year while a rookie learns behind him? Or will it be a competition next year between him and a rookie? Or can he at least be a solidified backup for this organization for the next several years? I think there's some value in Cade Klubnik. I just don't think he's franchise savior at this point. And for us to be having discussions of him being the starter, to me, is just so Jets fan like, right? Like he's had a couple of good series, in the preseason, and we're starving so much for a franchise guy that we're willing to go ahead and risk it all on Cade Klubnik. But again, I wouldn't sleep on the kid. He was a first-round talent just not too long ago. He meets every metric in the Bill Parcells criteria for a franchise quarterback in the NFL. And you've kind of seen, some components of that in these preseason games. Kid looks poised. He doesn't get rattled. He's made some good throws. He's making good decisions. You love what you're seeing. But for me, let the kid sit unless Geno Smith really craps the bed. Then you throw him out there and see what he's got.
I agree with all that, except if he's offensive rookie of the year, well, then you're not going to draft the quarterback. Everything else I agree with. But I don't think he's going to get the chance to play enough to be in contention for that award unless Geno goes down early and it's a Brady situation with Bledsoe, right? He just never gives the job back, that kind of thing. But, here's the bottom line. If the Jets get off to a bad start, you're going to see Klubnik sooner rather than later, because if they're 2-7, there's going to be calls from ownership and Darren Muji to say, let's see the kid. You're not going to just go down with Geno Smith at age 35. Now, Glenn might push back on that, but that's where I believe ownership and the GM gets involved and says, we're doing what's in the best interest of the franchise, not necessarily the guy that gives you the best chance to win that particular game to maybe save your job. Because at that point, your job's already cooked. Yeah. You got it to an awful start. You were 0-7 last year. If you're 2-7 in year 2, you're done at that point. So the earliest I think we see Cade, if Geno's having a good year, but they're not winning, is the bye week, which is after week 13. And then you can play Klubnik the last 5. I think they want to stick with Geno as long as possible because he's their best quarterback right now to give them a chance to win. Right. But I agree, if they fall out of it, it's going to be the Cade show. What's concerning is, let's say they get off to a decent start and Geno goes down and has to miss a couple of weeks. Let's say he's out 2 to 3 games. That's where if Klubnik is not ready to come in and be competent, you're going to be able to fairly criticize the Jets for not having a better QB2 if that scenario arises.
That's a very good point, right? That's I think the crazy part is as Jets fans, we don't even think about that being an option because it's us. We don't.
It's what if we're actually good and we could use a good backup?
Exactly. What if we're good? What if Geno Smith actually gets us a 4-1 or 5-2, whatever start, and then he goes down, and then Cade comes in and he's clearly not ready for it. Now the whole dynamic changes, right? Now it's not about Cade makes the most sense. Now we're going to be pissed because an opportunity could be missed because we were on track to potentially end that horrible freaking playoff streak. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. And that goes to show you how pessimistic my mindset is because I didn't even think about that as being a thing to worry about. But clearly, that's a situation where you look at it and you're like, damn, we really dropped the ball on that one. And honestly, that becomes a hit on Muji at that point from being a guy that we're all really high on to, ooh, you dropped the ball. You probably cost us the playoffs. And that could turn Muji from a top 11 GM to, bottom 20, 25 kind of guy real quick.
100%. Gunny with us here. Jet fans, you want Cade to be QB2 or should they add another veteran? The other part of all this, I don't think they want to carry 3 quarterbacks on their 53. So I think they only want 2, so they have an extra roster spot, and they'll carry Zappy on the practice squad as their emergency quarterback. That's what I think is their ideal scenario. And I think Klubnik's shown them enough this summer where they're comfortable rolling with him to be QB2. We could debate it all we want, but They clearly like him. They never brought in competition. If you've been to any of the practices, the rep distribution between Klubnik and the other two backups, it's like not even close. They're just giving Cade every chance. Cade started to get snaps with the ones this past week when Geno was coming back from the ankle. That was the first time all summer Cade took any sort of snaps with the number one team. I think it's clear he's won their backup spot and he's their QB2. And if Geno goes down early and they got to go to Cade and he's not ready, as much as I'm a fan of Darren Muji, he'll have to be responsible for that. Or maybe it's part of a master plan. If it doesn't work with Cade, whatever, will be bad. I know I'm going to pick my next coach and draft my quarterback anyway. So it's fascinating because this is where the Glenn Muji dynamic, it can meet head on. The head coach needs to win. I believe the GM is safe, barring like every player like Bailey and so on and so forth being terrible. That's kind of the feeling I have right now.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I think this is one of those situations where, and I don't know if these are conversations being had or even if AG's even aware of this, right? Because I don't know if AG still thinks like he's the guy and he's the reason why, the team is what it is. But I think Muji is safe. And I think Muji knows he's safe too. I think Muji understands that, look, at this point, it's about making sure the team is stocked full of talent. Let's see what my coach can do with the time that I'm giving him. But I think he already knows, like, if AG's not the guy, that he's going to have an opportunity to get his own coach. And again, I think he's earned that, unless, again, like you said, like Bailey winds up being a complete bum and then Arvell Reese wins like defensive rookie of the year or something like that. Then, of course, we revisit the conversation later. But it's got to be a weird dynamic because I know you hear a lot of the hot seat talk and it's all on AG. It's on AG. It's on AG. It's not just us saying it. You're hearing it from sports commentators that it's AG, AG, AG. You're not seeing Muji kind of thrown into that mix. AG's aware of this. I think he's got to be aware of it. So what happens when like Muji kind of sits there and he knows he's safe and AG's fighting for his life, and maybe he's the one that wanted a backup quarterback and then he didn't get one and they're using Cade. But I got to believe that there was some love for Cade Klubnik because we did trade up to go ahead and get the guy. Frank Reich seems extremely excited about getting the kid. And they brought him in, and there hasn't been any real competition. In my opinion, I think Cade kind of came in already identified as QB2. The question is, was that AG's call or was that Muji's call? I think you'll kind of see who it winds up being on if it doesn't kind of work out when one of those guys gets fired, i.e. AG. I think we'll find out later on. But you really have to wonder, not bringing in a competent backup behind Geno when there was opportunities to do so, it's questionable. Specifically, if you're thinking like a GM and a coach should be thinking, like you just stated, what if things go good and we're on a streak and now we don't have a guy if Geno goes down and we've got to rely on the rookie? Like, I'm not thinking about that. You're thinking about that. This is why you do what you do. So I can only imagine Muji and, of course, AG had thought about this. So that's a real conundrum if that doesn't pan out.
Shows you they probably believe in Klubnik, which we'll find out
a lot.
if they're right. Yeah, I hope they're right. For those who want to dream, the most dream of all dream scenarios is Cade Klubnik gets a shot early, is awesome, leaves no doubt, and you're equipped with 3 first-round picks in a stacked draft class. Not even just quarterbacks, receiver, corner, edge, stacked draft class, and you're armed and ready to supplement your roster around a fourth-round quarterback who's making no money as you build your team. That's the dream of all dreams. Yeah. That will not happen because we are Jet fans. But if you want to have the dream of all dreams, that is the dream of all dreams. Forever Rod says, God damn it, might be the rum, but they've done it again. I'm hyped, y'all. JETS. You're having rum on a Monday afternoon. It's not even 5 p.m. yet. Hell yeah. I love it. Jet up. Yeah.
Jet up. Let's go.
Yeah, rum in the afternoon right now, I'm kind of jealous, man. Is that like rum and Coke? Like, how are you drinking? I'm kind of curious. But
let us know, Ron.
Yeah, but I'm with you, man, Ron. It's hard not to be excited about it because you've kind of seen – again, it's been one of those weird, like, off seasons, right? Like, where the Jets weren't in the spotlight for every single thing. Like, there wasn't a chance for them to go say, oh, the Jets had this freaking major free agent sign with them. Over the last several years, it's been hype after hype after hype. And it's been one of those quiet, put your head down, kind of go to work off seasons. And you're kind of seeing the results of which, again, you've seen it, during training camp, and you're seeing it in a couple of preseason games. Now, albeit you still need to see it happen on Sundays when it matters most, but it just feels different, right, over the last several years, where it's not really loud. It's not really freaking like popping. There's not like eyes on the Jets. It's they're quietly just putting in the work, right? And you're hearing all the right things come from the players. You've got guys like Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson sounding like seasoned veterans, and they're both like in their mid-20s, early 20s, like they're just hitting their prime. So a lot of what you're seeing right now, it's hard not to get excited when in preseason games you're seeing competent football being played. You're seeing an offense march down the field and score, right? Like Cade marched down the field and scored. If Breece Hall doesn't slip, in week 1, that's a touchdown, right? Like there's things you're seeing right now. The play calling looks like it looks good. It's making sense. It's aligned. It's working. And then the players are literally executing. So exciting stuff. But again, you got to see it on Sundays, man, for it to really kind of like resonate.
Ron followed up. Rum and Coke, my friend. Off today and tomorrow. Got a weird schedule like that.
Okay. Enjoy it. Rum and Coke is my go-to as well.
Hell yeah. I know you got to run, Gunny, so a couple more for you, and then we'll let you get out of here. And everyone who's on hold and everyone who will be on hold, I'm staying on. We'll do plenty of calls here on a Monday afternoon. Cash Taylor says, if Glenn's the guy, what does that look like? At what point in the season? Is he getting your respect at 6-4? Still too soon. JETS, Jets. If they're 6-4, 100% he's getting my respect. But Salah was 6-3 and 7-4, and then they lost their last 6 and missed the playoffs, right? Yeah. So, like, you have to then sustain it throughout the year, and you'll get credit for that. You can't just start hot and then collapse. That can't happen. That's why, like, when people just throw out like a win total, oh, they win 7 games, he's back. Not all 7-win seasons are the same. There's a difference in Adam Gase's 7-9 or Salah's 7-10 in 2022. Like, they're not all the same. So, if they start 6-4, will he be getting respect from me? Absolutely. If they start 6-4, please start 6-4. I'd love to be able to do shows in a world where the Jets are 6-4 this season.
Yeah, without question, right? Like if the Jets start off 6-4, there's a lot to be excited about. We can get the positivity as Jets fans coming out. You're going to see it in droves. But I'm with Jake on this one, man. Like it's how are we getting there? How did we get to this point? Are we seeing competent play week in and week out? Were those 4 losses, based off of competitive, scrappy losses? Was our team in it? Like there's levels to this thing, right? If you're seeing this guy, like he's clearly made adjustments to where the team is playing better football. And you got to give credit to the coaching staff, not just to the players executing. Whether they win or lose, I think that's going to change the dynamic. Even if they're like freaking 5-5, 4-6, and they're losing these games, but they're like in these games, these losses are different. Like we've seen this team show up on Sundays and just look unprepared. Like they didn't care to play football. So it's going to matter in regards to how these wins and losses are looking. But I'm with Jake on this one, man. 6-4, heck yeah, they're going to get our respect. But don't get it twisted. There'll be critiques too if there's critiques to be had in regards to how we're getting there. We got to be honest about it as well. Because again, we've seen this before. You've seen the 7-win Adam Gase. You've seen the 7-win freaking Salah. And it's always kind of ended in the same old Jets. So again, it's the losses are going to count just as much as the wins. How are we losing these games? Are they showing up on Sundays? Do they look prepared? Are we taking it down to the wire and we're just apparently outmanned? And at some point, that's going to be the case, right? Talent wins games. That's okay. You can accept that as long as your boys are showing up and they're actually putting in some effort. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one, Jake. Of course, you're going to get our respect, but don't get it twisted. We're going to still analyze like how these wins came about too, because we've kind of have the proof sources of how like that 7 wins and could look great in terms of a stat line. But when you're looking at some of these games individually, there's a lot of questions to be had.
Amen to that one. Mike Perez says, damn, Jake, feels like a throwback show with Gunny on. Oh, geez, no. Hell yeah, Mike. I appreciate
What's
you
up,
being
Mike?
tuned in. Gunny's a busy guy to get a hold of, man. I mean, I'd love to get Gunny on all the time. He's my guy down in H-Town. And I'm so bummed that they don't play in Houston until potentially, I think, next year, because I'm dying for an Asmaniac meetup in Houston.
Oh, I can't wait for that, man. Well, no matter when that is, if it's during a school week, I don't give a crap. I'm going to be there for that opportunity. But yeah, Jake, I mean, it's crazy, man. The kids are growing, man, with podcasts, with work, now school. It's just a lot going on. But you give me the opportunity, man. I'll just give me some notice. Like today was kind of a perfect time frame. You hit me up earlier today. I had the day. I was like, yeah, heck yeah, I'd love to get on the show. But now I definitely miss these these shows when I'm able to go ahead and chop it up with you.
Love it. Gunny, you're the best, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you, brother.
Gunny Gumby, NY Jets Situation Report with us there. Hey, I'm going to get to your calls, but we have a new sponsor, Dash Dog Food. That's right, Dash Dog Food. Use my link and get the official dog food of Chloe, my dog. She loves it, and she hates dog food typically. That's why I am so excited about this new sponsorship here. They sent Chloe the chicken recipe of Dash Dog Food, and again, I was not going to agree to bring on Dash as a sponsor unless Chloe actually enjoyed it. And you can see for yourself here, she's chowing down in her Asmaniac pet bowl there. She's loving the Dash chicken recipe. So they have all types of protein for your doggies, and you're going to find something for your pet that they will definitely enjoy. So check it out. Again, the link is in the description. Cannot recommend this enough. Chloe is like the pickiest eater ever. She only typically likes human food because she's spoiled. So now she's going to be even more spoiled. She's a big diva now, getting all this attention on the show. But check it out for yourself. Dash Dog Food. The link is in the description. I'll make it easier for you. It's just dashdogfood.com/Jets so you can take advantage of the special they're giving all the Jet fans who watch my show. So again, check it out and support our brand new sponsor, Dash Dog Food. Going to hit your calls coming up. Again, if you tuned in late, big raffle prize today. It's a signed Joe Klecko helmet for anyone who enters during this show. So make sure you do so, and we'll spin the wheel of champions at the end here. We have this right here from Robert, who says, we'll trade Cade and then he'll win the Super Bowl. Let's not be negative, Robert. What if Cade leads us to the Super Bowl? Have you thought about that? Huh? How many Jets have they traded and they went on to win the Super Bowl? Darnold's obviously the most notable, but how many people were traded and the team they went to immediately won? Like, you could say Revis, but Revis had a year in Tampa first. So maybe Cade wins a Super Bowl one day, but I don't know it's going to be because the Jets traded him. I don't know. Why do we have to be negative? Let's be positive. Let Me In says, what's up, fellas? I promise you I'm not talking out of my ass. Jets clinched the number 7 seed with a Week 17 win over the Bills. Jets. Well, you are talking out of your ass slightly. It'd be in Week 18 against the Bills. Week 17 would not be against the Bills. But I'll let it slide. Jet up.
Let's go.
All right, let's hit some of your calls. What's on your guys' mind today? We're talking all things Jets. Let's say hello to Dirty, who's first today. Hello, Dirty.
Jake, my man, how are you, sir?
Dirty, I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well in the towel closet, as everyone likes to call it. So I know it's a bit of a change from the mail truck to the towel closet, but we're here. So I have I put out top dog coverages predictions for the Jets. That got the most buzz so far.
Super Bowl?
No Super Bowl. I have us going 7, maybe 8 wins here. Being logical about the situation. At the same point, I have some very interesting takes. I think we're walking into Gillette Stadium and taking a win, to be honest. I really do. And I think that's going to set a 4-game win streak. I think we're going to have a tough time against the NFC North in the beginning. It's going to look bad, and we're going to take a win against New England inside of Gillette Stadium. And we're going to take the Browns, we're going to take the Patriots, Dolphins, Raiders, and lose to the Chiefs. So I think we're going to take Titans. We're going to lose Packers, lose Lions, lose Bears, which is going to be tough. We get back on the road with the Browns. We take a win at Patriots. Call me crazy all you want, but they win road games. They don't win home games like that. Okay. They're going to take a loss against us. We're going to win against the Dolphins, Raiders. We're going to lose against the Chiefs and the Bills. It's going to be up and down. It's going to be a roller coaster like it always is, So, yeah, I think we're going to go 7-10.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a different take and everything, but I think in the beginning it's going to be but look, you have AD Mitchell, okay? That dude is going to be a perfect wide receiver too. You have Garrett Wilson. It's going to be very tough to cover, but this defense, there was somebody that did some film breakdown. He did a very, very good job of it, and he noticed that since the cornerback got beat, he fell into that safety spot, and the safety came down, and that's why Cisco was able to get that interception. The assignments are known of where they're supposed to be. I think Aaron Glenn has gotten to this team right now of saying, hey, we have to be disciplined. They've only had 2 penalties within preseason games. I understand this is preseason. I get it, okay? But how many penalties did we have last year in preseason? A ton. He couldn't clean them up throughout the rest of the season. I like that it's a little bit more disciplined. I think he's going to put a lot more firepower into getting to the quarterback. So it'll be tough against the tougher teams, as it should be, but I think it's a different team rolling in this year. That's all.
7-10 kind of fading down the stretch. I don't know if that's where you want to be. What's the plan at quarterback then?
No, I know. I mean, what Gino misses? I'll say 2 or 3 games this season ish. I don't know, but I say they're going to put Club in there. That's just what I think they're going to do. I don't think they're going to get it back up. I think they like what the kid has, I guess, or wherever they. I don't. I'm not really a huge fan of it. He has a lot to learn. He's never had to be in a huddle, so he's learning how to be in a huddle. And now, not only do you have to be in a huddle, you have to command a huddle. So
I'd be surprised though, Dirty, with your prediction if they went into New England and won. But that's the type of win that Glenn's going to need to get this year to kind of prove that things are changing. That you can go into a division opponent's building and win. You can beat some of the teams you're supposed to beat, like Cleveland, like Miami, the Raiders. That's what he has to do. Are they going to win week 1 though?
I think, yeah. I think there's too much. There's always these little things that even when we had Salah on a team, there's always these little clips that got out. Oh, he said, she said, but he didn't deny the fact that he said that he was going to kick our asses. Okay, that should be more than enough motivation for every player on this team to be like, oh, you're just gonna whoop our ass. All right, go in there and go shut him the hell up. Shut him the hell up. That's it. You have a second-year quarterback who seems to keep on pedaling backwards. He's not stepping into the pocket. Go attack him. Go let Brian Dable know he's got more work to do on this kid. Okay? They have a lot of weapons. I'm not going to lie. Tony Pollard has had 4 1,000-yard seasons in a row. He's a great running back. Okay? Not to mention Tajay Spears is great. They have an immense wide receiver room.
Their quarterback might stink, though. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Like Cam Ward might be really bad. That's what I'm hearing.
So you know what? Send our defensive line in there and attack. Let David Bailey go loose. Let McDonald go loose.
It's a must-win, Dirty.
Yeah.
We need you in Nashville. Take the mail truck and drive it down to Nashville.
I'll see what I can deliver.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dirty, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Hey, I hope they have that winning streak that he referenced. That'd be a lot of fun. Beat the Patriots? You kidding me? Mike in San Diego wants to win a Joe Klecko signed helmet. He gifted 5 memberships because he believes in greatness. Thank you, Mike. Jets, Jets. Woo! If you got a membership from Mike in San Diego, you say thank you. The Jets did trade Mecole Hardman, and he did go and win a Super Bowl. So that's a good example. But so again, the question is, they traded the player, and then the player immediately won a Super Bowl after the Jets traded them. So Darnold and Revis don't count because they had gaps in between. They played on different teams before they won their Super Bowl. Hardman is the only one I could immediately think of. Jonathan Vilma won a ring with the Saints, but it wasn't right away after the Jets traded him. Weed the people. When are we getting an Asmaniac bong? Well, Weed, I made you my director of smoking paraphernalia, so whenever you want. Uno Jet says, Jake, put me in. Let's go, Jets. 9-8.
Just don't let go of the rope.
9-8. Glenn's definitely back if that happens, and he's going to get Coach of the Year votes, and he should. I love that Rusty Rages Regularly is still in the chat. Guy tried to run his mouth on Twitter, and he's still hanging out in the chat. Call in, Rusty. Let's hear your top of the line Jet takes. More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. This guy always brings it. Hit it.
You gonna break that rusty cage? That's what Soundgarden once said.
Well done.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go as far as Gino. Like you take a look at and Schein's got a point. It's a vast improvement over Fields, and who's to say that he's not the latest rehabilitation project in a mold of Donald or Testaverde or Jim Plunkett or Rich Gannon. You can name a whole slew of guys that came back from anonymity and kind of carved out a career for themselves, right? And Gino was good not too long ago. If we're gonna do anything, it's gonna be because he overperforms our expectations, and we're able to overcome the hideous head coaching that we have, uh, because the offense is left to right, and maybe Glenn kind of finds his comfort zone back at calling plays, and the defense shows a modicum of
You know what
improvement.
it's like, Kyle? It's like the year that Gase won the 7, and it was Greg Williams and the defense that won them most of those games, and like Darnold did just enough.
Yep.
That year, the offense scored just enough points, and they beat some bad teams on their schedule and got some breaks with some of the backups they played. Like that to me is kind of like the season that you're describing here, which it doesn't sound great because Gase got another year, and we just all know how that went.
Yeah, that's what it's like being a Jet fan. We're always in reruns. We never get the original run episode with the ending in the Super Bowl. The other thing is, are we starting to get a little bit of a feeling about Sadiq being a bad pick, considering some of the people that were on the board?
I'm more concerned about Pons than Sadiq at this point. Like Aaron Glenn said that, Pons, it's nothing serious at the start of camp. He's yet to practice. Sadiq is at least doing some work on the side and looks like he's running and starting to gear up a little bit. I feel like we're not getting the same type of positive reports on D'Angelo Pons.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just seeing how Bain's performing in the preseason, and I know it's only preseason, and it would take a lot of chutzpah to kind of go back to back with the edges there, but maybe it would have been the right thing to do. That's the only thing, rather than doubling up in consecutive years at the end. Well, purportedly they have a plan, and I would think that if they're going to overperform this year, that Sadiq's got to be a big part of that plan. And he's going to have to show up in certain spots. I don't expect him to be a week to week guy where he's getting 5 to 7 catches and 100 yards, but I do expect him to be making a difference in certain games where there's matchup problems and scoring touchdowns. And I don't think that's too much to ask from top half of the first round pick.
I'm not concerned yet. Remember Odell Beckham Jr. missed his first 4 or 5 games his rookie year, then came on and was amazing. It's too early. That said, I would like to see him start practicing because I think a lot of what they wanted to do was to be able to do all these cool different things with him. And I just wonder how many plays he's actually going to be comfortable being a part of in week 1. So yeah, I'd like to see him out there soon, but it's not ideal. Anyone trying to minimize it. Oh, it's fine. He'll be there week 1. That doesn't mean you're getting the player you envisioned when you used the 16th overall pick on him.
No, I don't want it to be that way. I was one of the first people that said, those wide receivers might be gone and tight end might be an option. But it's a bad start. And I get, they knew going in that he was coming off this injury. And I get that it's just the soreness that kind of goes along with it. But with Jet fans, when they've been bad for so long, they want to be able to dust off these new toys and get them out there on the field and see some results.
Oh, he's a certified freak, Kyle.
Yes, that's what I hear. I'll talk to you soon, Jake.
I was obsessed with Sadiq, certified freak, 7 days a week, certified freak. Obsessed with Sadiq, certified freak, 7 days a week, certified. Obsessed with Sadiq, 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Certified freak.
I was texting with Schein, by the way, because I've been trying to get him on this show. The problem is he does radio in the mornings on Sirius, and when he tapes that video show he does with the New York Post, that's when we're live here. So we haven't found a window to get Schein on the show so we could tell him that we all love his Sadiq rap. But we'll get there. Rusty Rages. He's apologizing, folks. Says, I do like you. I like watching your show. I effed up saying you're always negative, and again, for that, I'm sorry. I just can't take losing again. I'm a huge Garrett Wilson fan. And do you really think he's going to want to stay here going on his 3rd head coach? I don't think it's about his 3rd head coach. I think it's, can Gino be competent for a year? Garrett can get his numbers And if the Jets finish with 5 or 6 wins, he's not going to request a trade. He's under contract, and the Jets wouldn't trade him either. Here's how you get Garrett Wilson on board with the next coach. The next coach is Mike Tomlin or Sean McDermott or the top offensive guy, and they could speak fluent quarterback and say, hey, Garrett, you're the guy for us. We're going to put you in the best spots to be successful as Arch Manning is throwing to you or insert whoever is throwing to you. Garrett, I'm sure, is not going to be thrilled if they stink again this year, but he'll be thrilled if they finally get it right, and he's part of this long term with the next quarterback. I want to win too, Rusty. The bottom line is, though, they're coming off a 3-win season, and their head coach looked inept in year 1. So we can't just gloss over that. I hope he proves us wrong. He'd be an extreme outlier if he does. So I'm just prepared for that. I can't be a fanboy. If you want a fanboy, watch a different show. I got to give you my honest opinions. My honest opinions are just trying to call it how it is. Again, it's way better for me in all aspects of my life and financially if the Jets are good. But I'm not going to pretend like I think they're going to win 10 games if I don't believe it. I mean, have you ever heard the show when the Jets win? It's few and far between, but I'm as giddy as anyone. Go watch my post-game show the night they beat the Patriots to get the 2-1 in Rodgers' second year. You got to win games, man. They went 3-14 and started 0-7, and the head coach made an ass of himself last year. Oh, we're not the same old Jets. Maybe you started 0-3 and he said that? I was in Tampa melting. So they got to win. Win football games. That's it. I'm going to Nashville for week 1. I'm rooting for them to win. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, tank. Let's start losing. I don't want them to lose. If they start 0-4, I will want them to lose because there's no point of that at that rate. But they got to win week 1. That's what it comes down to. Open phone lines for those of you who want in on the conversation.
Don't let go of the rope.
Ha 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 ha, Tubby.
Good job.
Let's go back to Jake, please. I don't want to speak right now.
Rejected. Sorry.
I don't know what happened there, Beast. I just got knocked off my own show. Was that the Nightbot?
I messed up last year. I was a huge butthole.
Yes, you were, AG. La puerta negra me espera, detrás de ti, detrás de ti. La puerta negra me espera.
Beast Pack, you are no match for me. Ha 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 ha.
Go back to Jake, please. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Kick to the schnozzles.
I'm gonna need this to get another year.
Ha 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 ha, Tubby.
Good job.
I don't want to be a butthole.
Ha 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 ha, Tubby.
Good job.
Do you have something to do, ass wipe? Why don't you go play with yourself? Thank you.
Did you actually say sexual landscaping? Wrong word, Magic Mike.
Good job.
I said go piss off. Now go back to Jake. Thank you. For Christ's sake.
Hit the like button if you're new around here. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I want to thank all our new listeners who started watching our show following our post game the other night. We're almost at 64,000 subscribers now. So welcome to all our new listeners. That's Peacebreaker. He lives in his attic, and he's a man's man. More of your calls right now. Ron L is up next. Hey, Ron.
Hey, Jake. Hey, Jake. That is funny shit right there. It's so he doesn't even laugh at his own stuff, and it's funny how he's just like really afraid of the Nightbot and all these little things. These cards, you could actually do like a bobblehead giveaway for him. It's freaking hysterical, man. It really is.
I actually love that idea. We got to start selling Beastbreaker bobbleheads in the merch store.
I'm serious. It really, if you can get them made, you should do it. It's really funny. Funny in all these different figurine, things he's doing. So I was calling about. I heard Kyle Clifton before, and he mentioned Sadiq, and I know I'm a little nervous about that. But here's the thing: Savy does start the season. I'm afraid whatever this is, if it's lingering, if he ever gets hurt and misses like 3, 4, 5 games, next thing he's coming back, he's hurt again. It could be one of those things. And then you know what? Even if he comes back in a year or two, whatever, you missed out on a number that early of a pick on another position player that we would have had the availability of, and possibly, someone really good. That's what, so when you pick a guy that's questionable injury wise, that's the risk you take. And once again, then it would be on the medical staff because they evaluated him and figured, oh, he'll be back, he'll be fine. But these are those things that you're nervous about because we need him. Aaron Glenn needs him. You need that other weapon there. Otherwise, you take that off the board like as if it never happened. It's funny, and Adam Schein earlier, when he was talking, he mentioned the Jets, and he was actually looking ahead at the Jets' next coach, an offensive-minded coach. Say we might be a decent team looking past the coach, which is kind of funny,
Yeah, I mean, it just everyone knows how bad it was in year one for this guy. So it's like the excitement we should be having if we felt better about our coach based on the roster, I think would be way different. Again, if you told me Mike Tomlin was coaching the Jets, I would be in on those saying they could be a wild card team and win 10 games. Because I think the roster is good enough with the right coach to do it. I really believe that.
All right. I'm sitting here in Ocean City with what scenery we have around here, Jake. You can't see walking around there right now. But anyway, my wife's coming to the car now. I got to watch. Anyway, Jake, have a great day. Love the show once again. And I just wanted to get that in there.
Ron, you're the man. And we'll send you a Beast Breaker Nightbot bobblehead.
All right. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
I'm a head coach! Ha 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 ha, Tubby.
Good job.
Please go back to Jake Asman, please. Thank you for this time. Thank you. And thank you very much. And that's the bottom line. Why? Because Vince McMahon said so. Now, thank you very much.
Did you actually say sexual landscaping? Wrong word, Magic Mike.
Good job.
Fuck off, Nightbot. Now, Jake, take the show over. Thank you. Thank you. Gone.
F off, Nightbot. Give me back my show. You scumbag. Unbelievable. Open phone lines for anyone else that's not Nightbot that wants to be in on the conversation today. While Ron was talking about injuries, I pulled the injury report from Aaron Glenn today. This is Rich Cimini giving us the latest here, per Aaron Glenn's comments at the podium. Nashawn Wright and Quantez Stiggers returned to practice on a limited basis. Ditto for linebacker Kiko Malagoa. That's good news, especially with Stiggers, because of how serious that injury appeared when he collapsed at practice. Wright has barely practiced this summer. So this is a big week for the Jets, and I'll tell you why. They practice this week, and then they practice Monday and Tuesday next week, and then they're off the rest of the week. Cut down day happens, and then they come back from cut down day, and then the ramp up begins for the Titans. It's basically done. Like, if you don't get Pons and Sadiq out there at the end of this week or at the latest early next week, they're barely going to have any practice time. So it's a big week to get these guys healthy. So I like hearing that we got limited for Stiggers and Wright and Malagoa. I love hearing that Sweat, Anabare, and Osai have been increased to full practice. That's encouraging. And Brees, I saw a video SNY Jets posted of him running off to the side. He looked like a guy who was healthy. He didn't look like a guy nursing a groin injury. So I think Brees is going to be fine for week one. That's encouraging. Sadiq, Pons, and Isaiah Davis all still tracking for week one per Aaron Glenn. Okay. I hope Glenn is correct. Rusty Ray just said, should we have taken Caleb Banks, Akeem Mesidor, Dylan Thiemann? I'm not going to go there yet. I want to see Sadiq actually play before I say they made a mistake drafting him. Now, full disclosure, I was never on board with just taking Sadiq at 16. I became on board with it because they ended up trading back into the first round to get Omar Cooper. I was very concerned about the Jets being the team to utilize the freakish tight end who could do all these things. Like if the Ravens took Kenyon Sadiq, I'd be like, he's going to be an all-pro. The Jets do it. I don't have confidence in our coaching staff to get the most out of him. That said, I felt like it was a worthwhile swing by the Jets because they traded back into round 1 to get Cooper, who I would have been comfortable with to take, comfortable taking at 16. I wanted Lemon, but I also liked Omar Cooper, so I was fine with either or. I'm told that I should go live to Beast. Hurry. Well, as long as the Nightbot won't hack me, I will try and get to Beast as quickly as possible, Lou B.
Tweet. String in the cheese.
The crowd goes wild.
Tweet. String in the cheese.
I don't know what he was playing, Lou. If it's copyright music, I can't put Beast on. But it does look like Beast is dancing, so I'll go to him on mute. And then I'll play my own music. Ladies and gentlemen. And again.
You're gonna scare my wife.
Did you actually say sexual landscaping? Wrong word, Magic Mike.
Good job.
I haven't danced like that in a long time. Orale, Holmes. Ay, arriba! Now, Senor Jake, let's go back to you. El amigo, las 30 el vistas.
Yeah, you know, B, sometimes I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
More of your calls right now. Let's say hi to Roy, who joins us. Hey, Roy.
What's up, Jake? How you doing, brother?
What's up, Roy?
Jake, I'm against, what you believe in Glenn. I feel like you never gave him a fair shot.
I mean, I rooted for him dearly at the beginning of the season. I'm still rooting for him.
I know, but you don't think you should give him more than 1 year?
No, I thought he was horrible in his first year, and he should have been one and done like plenty of other coaches who have done way more that were one and done.
I know, but that was never his team, though. He never got a chance
What do you
to pick
mean?
his
It
players.
was absolutely his team. He chose to re-sign a
Who?
lot of the guys that we were complaining about.
Who's that?
Jamie and Sherwood, Tony Adams, the corner whose name I'm escaping, Michael Clemens. They picked up his option to bring him back.
Sauce Garner, and he got 3 players for Sauce Garner. He got 2
He extended
draft picks.
him. Right, he extended Sauce.
And he made out of that extension.
No,
'cause you got-
Darren Muji and the contract people were able to put a little loophole in that Sauce's bonus didn't fully kick in, so it was still a tradable contract.
I
He
know,
wanted Sauce.
so Glenn gets no credit for that?
He didn't negotiate the deal with Sauce.
I know, but I'm sure he had a say in that.
Roy,
no?
why was Sauce traded, though? It's because they were 0-7. When he said they were trying to win. When he said that he was going to coach guys up better, that he hired a great staff.
But Jake, and then look, he admitted that he made mistakes.
Of course.
He regrouped, and he hired a good offensive coordinator now.
We don't know that.
We don't know. Correct.
We don't know that. Frank Reich was only getting one job with one team in the NFL as an OC.
But you saying that the Lions, right? For example, that the Lions head coach, it was only good because of his offensive coordinator. He went 9-8 last year, and Goff threw 34-8, 34 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He
Whoa,
had a
I
great
never
year.
said that. I never said that. I said you
No,
can't
no, but
compare the Jets situation to the Lions situation because the
why
Jets don't
not?
have Ben Johnson and they don't have a Jared Goff who was the number 1 pick in the draft.
I know, but give him a chance. How you know Frank Reich can be good? And you
You
know
think, Roy, you think Frank Reich is going to be anywhere near as good as Ben Johnson was
no,
in
no, he's probably
Detroit?
not going to be as good. But I think the Jets could be good eventually with Glenn. I feel like you're not giving Glenn a chance. Like you
He's
put
getting
him.
a chance this year, Roy. What do you want me to say?
No, no, I know he is getting a chance, but if it was up to you, you would never give him a chance.
No, I would have moved on, but I'm also not Woody Johnson. I don't own the Jets.
I get it, but you got to give him a chance.
I
Like this
am.
year,
I
if
talk
if
about this
he,
team every day, Roy. I'm going to
yeah, but
Nashville for week 1. How am I not giving him a chance? If he
because
does well, I'll give him credit. If he proves me wrong, I will give him credit. I want to be wrong. I hated when the Knicks got rid of Tom Thibodeau. Believe me, I am thrilled they're NBA champions. Do you think I care that take is wrong because Mike Brown obviously proved me and anyone questioning that move wrong with that decision?
no, I feel like anything good comes out of the Jets, you never ever give Glenn credit.
You
Anything
watched my
bad that
post
comes out
game
of the
show the other
Jets,
day?
probably not.
Well, I
I
gave
don't know. I'm not
plenty of
sure.
credit to the Jets and Aaron
Oh,
Glenn for winning and how they handled Klubnik. I thought they played him the appropriate reps. Like, you're just like, give him a chance. How am I not giving him a chance? He's the coach. I'm not one of those people saying tank the year. I'm not one of the tankers. I'm rooting for wins. I'm just telling
okay.
you, I don't think he's a very good head coach. So he's going to have to prove to me and many doubting him, and rightfully so if
But
you feel that way, that he is a good NFL head coach because there's no evidence of it.
but you saying the Jets is a must win. What do you think the Titans fans are saying about the Jets? You don't think they're also saying this is a must win for them?
I'm sure they are, but I know the Jets are better than the Titans, and they need to win that game.
You saying because you're a Jet fan, the Titans are probably saying the same thing, no?
Yeah, but I'm looking at it, I believe, through objectivity on this. Like, I think the Jets are a better football team than the Tennessee Titans.
Yes, but not by much. If they are, no, you don't think it's close?
I mean, it's obviously somewhat close because I think Saleh to this point has proven to be a better head coach than Aaron Glenn. That's why I'm concerned.
Yeah, because Glenn only had 1 year. Give Glenn another year. If he
He's
does
getting
bad,
this year, Roy. What do you
yes,
expect?
no,
So
no, no.
what is your record prediction for the Jets then? You keep saying, I'm not giving Glenn a chance. I am giving him a chance. He's here. What do you expect from the Jets this year under Aaron Glenn in 2026?
I expect them to be a good team. Forget about the record. Yes, I want them to win 8, 9 games, 10 games. I want them to
You're
make
not
the
a good
playoffs.
team if you don't win at least 8 or 9 games. You're not.
Yeah, let me. What? Okay, okay. What the Saints a good team last year?
The Saints were a team that started poorly and the arrow was trending up. I do not think they were a good team, though.
I don't know, but right now, if you're a Saints fan, you'd be happy. You're looking for this shit coming up this year.
Right,
Like,
because they
wow,
had a
you know what?
quarterback that played well.
Yes. So let's see what happens. Let's see
So
if the
if the
Jets,
Jets finish with 6 wins with Geno, no one's excited about the future. 6 wins with a second-round pick who I think had a winning record when games he started. There's a totally different feeling with Tyler Shuck versus Geno Smith doing that.
correct. It all depends how it looks. That's all, and when you watch the game, you could see how it looks and how the Jets look and play. I don't know. To me, I just want to give Glenn like a fair shot. Last year, he didn't have his players. Those are all solid
Right,
players.
you
He
say that.
he tried to come in.
He didn't
He tried
bring
to
in
come
his
in and
players. Roy, he didn't bring in anyone. He should have brought in guys like DeMario Davis and Onyemata and guys that knew him in Detroit or New Orleans. Some of the moves he made this year, that should have been done last year. We all questioned it. You're not going to bring in any of the guys that were with you when you were successful. Look at all the other Jet coaches. They all brought in guys that knew them. Rex was probably the most famous for this, or Parcells with all the guys they added. Like
Jake, he
that's
had
what
one
you were
off
looking to see
season,
in year
Jake.
one.
He had one off season. He tried to fix Salah's mess. Salah, the whole Rodgers, the whole
He
mess he tried to
misevaluated
fix.
his own team, though. That's a major red flag.
Correct. I know. Listen, he had a bad year. I'll be the first one to tell you. Terrible. I couldn't believe the mistakes he was making, the coaching decisions, the clock management was the worst. I couldn't believe my eyes what I was watching. I agree with that. But I just feel like, as fans, especially as a Glenn fan, because I was growing up, I was watching him play. I loved him as a
He was an
player.
awesome player, but we got to separate him as a player and evaluate him as a head coach. If he didn't play for the Jets, if this was Arthur Smith in year one with the Jets, you would want him fired too. I just have the balls to say it because I could call a spade a spade. I work with Mike Tannenbaum, who got him the fucking job. Excuse my language. Like, I'm not afraid to just call it what it was. It was as bad of a year one as any head coach in the modern NFL based on eye test, statistics, point differential, the record against the AFC East. They're the first team to ever go 17 games without an interception, and he's a former DB. Again, I'm rooting for him, but I can't sit here and put lipstick on a pig. he was awful. He gets this year to prove himself, and I hope he's great because I'm a Jet fan, and I hope he makes me look like a fool for doubting him.
Jake, you're great at your job. I swear, I watched you when you first started. You're great, but you are way better now than you were in your first year. I'll bet you Glenn gets way better and you'll be fine. I think Glenn is going to do good. I
But
really
how
do.
many
I don't know
wins,
why.
Roy? Again, you're saying he's going to do way better, but it didn't sound like you were predicting him to win more than 7 games.
No, I'm just talking about like the eye test. I feel like the Jets are going to go there. The flags, the penalties will be way better. The offense will run smoothly. The defense will be way better.
But
Like I feel
but
like
are they winning? Like, are they like? Who cares? They have to
yeah,
win games.
I think they will win. If Geno Smith is decent, I think Jets will win games. I think Jets will win 7, 8, 9
How
games.
many games are they going to win, Roy?
I
You're
don't know.
telling
I
me
wish
Glenn's
I
going to be
knew.
better. But
I'm
like,
hoping.
what do you feel? Because that's all that matters. I don't like. You don't want to hear it. But Robert Saleh won 7 games without a quarterback twice. You don't want to hear it. You're going to probably tell me Saleh is a bad coach. He's much better than Aaron Glenn at this point until proven otherwise. At least Saleh was an expert on his side of the ball. The Jets were an elite defensive team in 2022 and 2023.
I know, but Bill Parcells won 4 or 5 games. Belichick with Cleveland sucked. You got to give these guys a
These
chance.
guys
You
are
got to.
extreme outliers. You realize that only Glenn and Hugh Jackson ever had a year one where they fired both their coordinators and did not lose their job.
I'm sure it could go that way. I'm sure Glenn could be terrible, and I'll be the first like I can't believe my eyes what I'm watching. I'm sure, but I'm sure it could turn away the other way too, where Glenn could be a great coach. We don't know.
I guess it can, but what evidence do you have that he's just
I
going to be
just
better
like
in year 2? He's
no.
also
Do you
now
know what?
taking over the play calling, and he didn't handle the clock management stuff very well, or challenges, timeouts, the in-game stuff. I'm concerned that that's also going to remain a mess while he's taking on additional responsibilities running the defense.
I just like the way he started. He started as a scout, then he went to a linebackers coach or whatever he was, and a defensive coordinator. He worked his way up,
But
and
what
I
does that
think the
mean if you
truth
go 3-14 and start 0-7 in year 1?
that was year 1. I agree. You could knock on him. I don't think he deserves to get fired after 1 year.
And that's fair. And that's fair. You could say
That's what
as
I'm
bad as
saying.
it
That's
was.
what I'm saying.
But
I
you're
feel like you
acting
wanted
like
him fired so bad. That's why it just
yes,
like
because he was
bothered me.
awful. Yes, I'm not going to hide from that. I thought he should have been one and done. There were 10 other openings around the league. There were plenty of one and done coaches. I covered David Culley in Houston. Glenn was worse than David Culley. He was one and done. Lovie Smith next year in Houston. He was one and done. Jim Tom Sula and Chip Kelly with the Niners. They were one and done. And guess what? Those teams got better because they eventually got the right guy. If Glenn's not the right guy, I wanted to move on to take my chance at finding that guy. That was my point. I'm not just going to keep him because, it's only a year. Sometimes you just know, man. That was my point. But he's getting this year, and I hope he proves me wrong. I don't know what's so difficult about that. It doesn't even sound like you think this team's going to be very good. Yet you're upset at me
No,
for
I think they
Aaron
are. I think
Glenn.
they're going to be good. I don't think. Listen, the Jets are projected
Let's
to
say
win
they're going to
5
win
and
9 games because that would be good, or at least 8 and 9. Do something a Jet coach hasn't done since Todd Bowles in 2015.
I think Jets will win 8 games, 9 games, 7 the least. But if they less than that and you want to
Then
be
he's
5, that's
gone.
fine.
Then he's
That's fine.
gone.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Let's see what happens this year. Nice talking to you, Jake.
Roy, come to Nashville week 1. We can root on Aaron Glenn and the Jets together.
You got it, brother. Let's go Jets.
You got it, Roy. I love it. Again, it sounds like we're saying this. He's like, you got to give Glenn a chance. He's getting a chance. What more do you want? He's lucky to have a job. If he didn't play for the Jets 30 years ago, he would not be employed right now by the Jets. Let's call it for what it is. The owner likes him because he knew him as a player and as a scout. Again, I hope that this head coach is awesome this year, but there's a reason why ESPN just did their rankings of coaches and he was 32nd. There's a reason why if you type in NFL head coaches on the hot seat, name your media outlet of choice that does these lists that everyone loves to click on. Aaron Glenn is number 1. He was awful last year. I hope he's learned a lot. I just don't know if you could be that bad and now magically you're good. Do I think he's hired a better coaching staff this go around? Absolutely. But I don't know if that's enough to save his job. And again, he's taken over the defense. There's like this narrative that he's like a defensive guru. His defenses were not very good in Detroit. The last year they were. But they still were 20th in yards allowed. Like they had a lot of injuries. I thought he did a nice job. The lasting memory I have, though, of Aaron Glenn as the Lions DC is Jaden Daniels lighting them up in the playoffs. And Goff, to be fair, was also terrible in that game. So it's not just the Lions defense, but come on, man. You know, you look at I didn't even mention the Patriots when they fired Gerard Mayo. Good job by Saru Nacho. Here says, do you think the Pats fans cared when they fired Mayo for Vrabel? Nope. Of course not. We just want the best coach. That's what it comes down to. I mean, so yeah, I wanted them to move on last year. They didn't, but I'm a Jet fan, so I hope Aaron Glenn's awesome. I didn't want the Knicks to move on from Tom Thibodeau. You think I was rooting against Mike Brown so my take would be correct? No. But if Aaron Glenn didn't play for the Jets 30 years ago, all these people who are defending him, you'd want him gone too. He was worse than Gase last year. He was. Check the numbers. Gase in year one, far better than Aaron Glenn in year one. And it's not even close. Gase won 7 games in year one. And they started 1-7 and didn't quit on him and actually played well down the stretch against bad teams. Glenn's team quit on him. Major Poonage says, Roy's a rage-baiting AG bootlicker. Well, I don't know about that, but I appreciate the super chat. Major Poonage is gifting 5 memberships. He really hated Roy. Shout out to you, Poonage.
Hello? You play to win the game.
See, if Glenn wins games, all this is solved. We're all happy. If he loses games, then maybe he will still get us to the promised land. And we'll have a top pick and we'll get a quarterback. And we'll be an attractive job for the next coach. Eric Kelly says, Glenn defenders always have 1,000 excuses for Glenn, but no reason he's going to be better. It's just hope. Yeah, no one can actually point to anything that gives you confidence. And when they say like things, and then you go, okay, well, how many wins then? And they're still around 7. That's not good enough. Good coaching, a top coach can take the Jets' current roster and win 8 or 9 games with them. Seriously, if Sean Payton was coaching the Jets, they would go 9-8 or 10-7 to make the playoffs. They would. If Kyle Shanahan was the Jet coach, they make the postseason. If Ben Johnson or Liam Cohen, if they were coaching the Jets, or if Vrabel was coaching the Jets, this is an 8+ win team. They have good enough pieces to do it. They have a good offensive line. They have good playmakers. They have a good running back. They have some players on defense. How much more do you need? They have an elite special teams unit. Now, the kicking thing I'm worried about because I'm a Muji guy. Not bringing back Nick Folk was moronic, and the Jets' current kicker for week 1, I don't believe is on their team right now, but we'll see. If they had a good coach, their win total wouldn't be 5.5. It'd be 7.5, 8.5. I'm telling you, even with Gino. Good coaching can overcome so much in the NFL. And I'm not trying to tell you that this Jets roster is incredible. I think, but I don't think it's bereft of talent. A good coach could take this team and can win 9 games with it. I truly believe that. Remember Sean Payton was 4-2 with Jameis Winston in New Orleans? He could win games with Gino. 1,000%. More of your calls right now. Ralphie Rocks, who won a David Bailey jersey on our show yesterday's next. Hello, Ralphie.
Hey, how are you, Jake?
What's going on?
What a crazy take that just was. That was crazy.
He's like yelling at me for not giving Glenn a chance. I'm like, what more do you want from me? Like I'm rooting for him.
Aaron Glenn is lucky to have a job. I mean, let's just be honest. Like that was, if any of us were that bad at our jobs,
we'd be fired.
The ones of us that have jobs on this show, if any of us were that bad for the whole first year, yeah, they would be kissing the ground if they were asked back again. So, I mean, those of us that were in London, that had to be one of the worst coach games ever to lose that game, whatever it was, 13-11, and not know when to kick a field goal, when to throw a Hail Mary pass, when to call a timeout at the end of the half. So that's a brutal take. I mean, and all of us Jet fans, if Mike Tomlin or anybody else was available and took the job this year, we would be thrilled about it. So, I mean, we're just coping and saying, well, we have him and we hope it's going to be a good year. But it was a terrible performance, and he can only get better. It might not be much better.
He will be better because he can't be any worse.
Right,
Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean anyone has to have confidence in him. Like until proven otherwise, I expect I expect us to have the coaching disadvantage in so many of our games, and that's a shame because I think they have a good enough. I think they have a good enough team where if they actually had the right coach, this could turn pretty quick, and that gives me hopes for the future.
Yeah, and I always with Parcells, I know I'm going back a little bit, but Rex Ryan, I always thought that we had the edge in coaching. That we were gonna take advantage of other coaches' mistakes. So, yeah, I wasn't even calling about that, but I was on hold while that was going on.
Oh yeah,
and that was crazy.
It was good to hear from a Glenn Bootlicker. It's nice to see they're still out there.
What I was calling about was like thinking that Pons and Sadiq is a bad draft pick just because they're hurt and they can't get on the field right now. Like it's football, people get hurt. I can't really even say whether or not people are, they're always injury prone at this point. But I just know being a Mets fan in a terrible year. I mean, Carson Bench was batting about 100 to start the year, the first month. And now he's right in the rookie of the year, talking because he's on fire right now, and he has the second best rookie season of any Met ever offensively. So, you never know where preseason week number 2 versus end of the year, it's 4 months away. So I like Sadiq. And quite frankly, if we have a bad year, we bring an offensive coach in, it's a good long-term pick for us anyway. So, I mean, I like it. So anyone who's killing that pick already, saying that he was hurt at Oregon, he had decent numbers at Oregon, even with injuries. So
he played through it.
Yeah, exactly. To me, that says a lot more than somebody who is injury prone and is always on the bench. I mean, he played through it, and he was great at the combines, and he probably should have got his surgery before, but he showed out and he got the money, by being a top 20 pick, which is rare for a tight end. So good for him. I think he'll bounce back. Maybe it takes a couple of weeks. He probably, if he was healthy, wouldn't know where to line up anyway. So, knowing Jets picks anyway and this coaching staff. So maybe it's not so bad the first couple of weeks he's seeing what's going on and watching Mason Taylor. So also, I'm making money. I think myself and Lou B, we said we were going to pay $25 every time Beast cut a lawn last week, and he hasn't done anything since then.
It's been above 85 degrees.
I mean, my ROI is very good here. I'm not going to be in the hole for much.
No, I don't think you are. Now, Beast wants to weigh in though, because he looks very, very defiant on hold. So let me go to Beast Kong.
Okay.
Wait for me, brother.
Hey, Beast. He's on the phone.
Not like that, homie. Come on, man. You think we think a flying spider? Going Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. I am Spider-Man. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Nah. I'm busy. I got things to do, brother. Hey, come on. You think I'm? Whoa. Time. I was ready to throw the flag and go, beep. Ball start. Number 22, the offense. That's an automatic 5-yard penalty. Automatic first out.
I messed up last year. I was a huge butthole.
Yes, you were, AG. La puerta negra me espera, detrás de ti. La puerta negra me espera.
Beast Pack, you are no match for me. Ha 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 ha.
I don't want to be a butthole.
Ha 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 ha, Tubby.
Good job.
It's nasty. It's gross. Nah, that's not my thing. Nah.
Salient points by that guy. Yes, Greg, you're right. Enough of that.
Can you hear me? Kick to the schnozzles.
I'm gonna need this to get another year.
Ha 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 ha, Tubby.
Good job.
Sorry, Ralphie. I don't think you're going to get your answer to your question about the lawn.
I know. Saving me money. We were going to pay him $25 to introduce me by saying, say hello to my little friend like Al Pacino, but he didn't do that either. So
I wouldn't count on it.
No, not at all.
All the best.
All right, Jake. Thanks.
Ralphie rocks, everyone. Open phone lines for those of you who want in on the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to the Beast. Beast, you there?
I was on the telephone taking care of an important phone call.
Oh, no. I'm being hacked again. It's the Nightbot. Oh!
Can you hear me? Kick to the schnozzles.
I'm gonna need this to get another year.
Ha 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 ha, Tubby.
Good job.
Get the hell out of here, you flaky fruit booty. You want to do something, go spank your monkey while you're at it, you
Did
idiot.
you actually say sexual landscaping? Wrong word, Magic Mike.
Good job.
Get the hell out of here, you little monkey. Go play with yourself. You got something better to do? Go play with yourself. I got better things to do. Now, piss.
Oh my god, look what you've done, Beast. You pretended you had 35 world belts. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to cut you off and cast you out with the sodomites. So Tom in here will make you feel like you've been run over by the lane train.
Oh.
Can you hear me? You catch my drift? Give him over 24 hours to think about it and go back to reality.
Nightbot, we will defeat you. Derek, the Kansas Jet fan, you're in the raffle for one. We're going to get to more of your calls. For those tuning in late, Klecko signed helmet is our prize today, so make sure you enter if you want a chance at that. Let me hit more of your calls right now. I'm excited about this guy. I haven't heard from him in a while. He must be excited about the upcoming Jet season. At least I hope he is. It's Papa Jet.
Holy shit, look at that beard! He has a beard, he's the man. Ain't no Santa Claus. Papa Jet loves the Jet. He's one handsome son of a bitch. It's Papa Jet.
Hey, Jake, how you doing?
Papa Jet, what's going on?
Not much. Yeah, I didn't know if I should call in after, not the last caller, but the caller before that. I didn't. It's been a while. I didn't be yelling at me because he seemed like he got you fired up. But
I love the points he was trying to make.
But I figured it's time of year to give my record prediction, and I'm always a glass half full kind of guy. I'm going 9-8. That's my prediction.
What were you last year?
I was 10-7. Like I said, glass maybe 3/4 full. I don't know.
I like it. Hey, your Sabres finally made the playoffs. Why can't the Jets?
Yeah. And the Pirates, they're not going to, unless they go on a run, but they were relevant this year. They did pretty good. If it wasn't for their bullpen blew about 20 games, but they had a better year. So hopefully it's a sign of things to come. But Jake, well, first, congratulations on your, what do you got, like 65,000, I think, pretty close to it?
Not yet, but hopefully by week 1 we could get there.
That's awesome. I think Bobby mentioned to you possibly getting to 100,000, and you said you probably don't think so, but I can get you 100,000 because I can piss off about 35,000 Bills fans here, but I don't know. I don't know if we want them in the chat, you know. But Jake, I ordered some Payne hat and shirts the other day. Is the Patreon and Discord, is it connected to jakeasman.com somehow?
No, the Patreon is connected to the Discord. The
Okay,
merch
but for me
website
to
is
get,
separate.
okay, because I ordered the shirt and hat through jakeasman.com, but
Correct.
how do I do the Patreon discount?
At checkout, it asks for a code. You use that code at checkout, and it will give you the 25% off.
Is the code the same all the time?
It's the code that is the same for all Patreon users that's messaged to you when you sign up.
Okay. I'll
Let me
figure it
see if
out.
I could retroactively go and give you the discount on your order, though, Papa.
Well, that'd be nice of you. I'm not worried about that. I just figured for next time, you know.
Oh, well, I mean, you're a Patreon member. I want you to get the discount.
Yeah, okay. I'll take it.
Oh, you bought a bunch of look at you. You bought a baseball cap, you bought a Payne shirt, a Payne hat, an Asmaniac hat. I love it.
Yeah. 2 shirts and 2 hats, I believe. But
let me see what I could do here, Papa. I will work on this for you, all right?
Okay, if not, you know, I appreciate it, but if not, it's cool.
Yeah, just for the future, use that code at checkout and you'll get the discount.
Okay, thanks. And last, I've been kind of snoozing a while here, but is there any tickets left in the 146 or no?
3, yeah, go quick. 3 are left.
Okay, that I got 4, so I'll get tickets somewhere else, but I'll just still come to the tailgate.
No. Let me see what I can do on that. I can find an extra one for you for your group.
Okay, Jay, I apologize, but my job's just been so volatile lately, and I was in Minnesota for a little bit, and then my brother passed too. So
I'm sorry,
been kind of
Papa. My
dealing with that too. So yeah, I appreciate it. And you know, Jake, I just want to say, because I mentioned him a couple times, but if there's anybody out there battling addiction, man, you could do it. You know, I know when you get, I think addiction and depression goes hand in hand, but you know, you might not feel your love, but you are. So I pray for people like that all the time. But anyways, Jake, that's all I got. I appreciate it.
My condolences, Papa. Here's what I want you to do. I just set it up where there's now 4 available tickets for you. So if you go and claim it right now, you can get 4 for your group. You'll be the last 4.
Okay. And you do PayPal?
PayPal, Zelle, Venmo. It's all on the link that's on the dashboard for the Patreon to get access to it.
Okay. I'll do that then. Thanks, bud, though. I appreciate it.
You got it, Papa. My condolences. I'm sorry to hear that. Good to get you back on the show and call in. We got to get Papa Jet at our meetup. He was there last year. And with that, Papa Jet will be the last Asmaniac to claim our 71 tickets because I made an extra one, which is fine. That just means Papa Jet has to sit next to the Beast. No, I'm just kidding. All right, ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls. Travis is up next. Hello, Travis.
What's going on, Jake? You know, longtime fan, first time caller. What's happening, brother?
I can only see half your face, Travis.
Oh, one sec. Sorry, I just got a new computer. I'm working on it. What's going on, brother?
Look at that beard. Hell yeah.
Appreciate it.
Fellow redhead, let's go.
Yes, sir. So, first off, you know, I've been a fan for a long time. Congratulations on all the success. I've been subscribed to you since you were a little page, 10, 11,000 subs. So congratulations on all the success, brother.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Where are you from?
I'm from Long Island. I'm in the middle of Long Island. So I'm not a New York City guy. I'm not a New Jersey guy, but I'm in a crowd of area where it's all Giants fans by me. So all my buddies are all Giants fans. So I'm the lone Jets fan. We've been suffering for a long time. So I'm staying loyal. I was born into this shit, and I'm going to stay with this shit.
Always, man.
So I got a few questions for you. First question is, we saw on the national media, the last, couple of days about how the Cade Klubnik starting, it's bullshit. It's nonsense. But how long of a leash do you think Geno has throughout the course of this season? And do you think Cade Seas starts at all, maybe towards the tail end of this year? Or do you think that Aaron Glenn's just going to say, fuck it, we're going to ride with Gino the entire year because he needs to win as many games to save his job? What do you think on that premise?
So it's interesting because this is where I think it gets dicey between the Glenn and Muji dynamic. If they're out of it, like really bad, like 2-9 type of bad,
yeah,
I think that's where it's no longer Glenn's decision who the quarterback is. It's ownership intervening, saying we got to see Klubnik, unless Glenn like had already gone to Klubnik earlier than that because he thinks he gives the team a better chance to win. But my gut feeling tells me Glenn's going to ride and die with Geno Smith for as long as humanly possible because he's trying to win every game. And I just think that he's going to look at the veteran as the best chance to do that over a day 3, 4th round rookie. So I think he's going to ride as long as the Jets aren't like awful. If they're within a couple games of 500, I think Geno's going to get the longest of leashes if he's healthy.
So you're thinking, so then when we talk about, length with Geno, does he have to be around 6 to 7 wins before he gets pulled before we see Klubnik in games? Like if we're around that 6-7 win mark,
their
do you
bye
think
week
he still rides it out?
Well, okay. So their bye's week 13. Let's look at their schedule from week 14 on. Denver, the Cardinals, the Patriots, the Vikings, and the Bills. There's 5 games left. So through the first 12 weeks, if the Jet record is 6-6, I think they're sticking with Geno Smith.
Okay.
If they're 4-8, I think it's probably Klubnik time sooner rather than later for the home stretch.
Okay.
Like I agree with this comment from veteran Jet fans. Probably the best way to look at it. The Jets get to their 9th loss, they go to Cade, whenever that might be, because that would make sense.
So now we're talking about, we've been a quarterback carousel for as long as I've been alive, and I'm 26. So do you think that, let's say for hypothetical sake, Cade plays well, okay? Say he plays well. And nothing crazy, puts up something similar to what Dart did last year in the limited time, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, something like that, right? Do you think that leapfrogs him enough in the Jets front office minds to say where we don't need to draft a quarterback with our possibly first of the 3 first rounders we have next year, so where we could say, oh, we might be able to look at a Jeremiah Smith, or we might be able to look at said player, because I think adding Smith next to Garrett would be ridiculous. Do you think that, and then they could sit back with one of those later firsts from either Green Bay, the Packers, or Indianapolis and say, we could wait a little bit on a quarterback instead of drafting a guy in the top 6 or 5 to where we have to even move up? How would you play that? If Cade comes in, say, hypothetical sake, week 12 or after the bye,
there's nothing he could do that would prevent me from drafting a quarterback.
Nothing. So even if he plays his tail off,
I think it's unlikely he comes in and is just like amazing, right? Because he would have been playing a lot earlier if he was ready in that scenario. There's nothing Cade Klubnik could do post bye week on in this scenario where I'm not drafting a quarterback. Best case scenario, he's good. He's a good backup, or he's the bridge competing with the rookie till that guy is ready. And if I eventually got to trade one of them, so be it. And hopefully the Jets make the right choice, unlike the Vikings who had McCarthy and then, we got to play him because we drafted him, and Sam Darnold's right there winning a Super Bowl a year later. I hope that Klubnik, if he gets in, he's in early and he plays well enough where we could give him a real evaluation. I'm not going to come to any strong conclusion we got our guy if it's a 5-game sample size in December.
So then with that argument, then you would want, say, now I don't know what your perspective is in terms of, I know you're not a big Glenn guy. I'm supporting Glenn. I think he's a hell of a football coach. And he wasn't really given the tools to succeed last year. And everything we've heard from players and past players and coaches is that he's one hell of a coach.
Well, they said that about Saleh too, though. I mean, they're not going to bash him. I think he was given the tools. I think he got a mulligan after how bad his first year was. He got to rehire his staff and pick a new quarterback.
And some guys are better as coordinators than they are head coaches. Like Robert Saleh has proven that he is one hell of a defensive coach. He has been one of the premier DCs in the league while he was a DC for a pretty long time. I just think it's just like, with Glenn, and how you were talking about Klubnik, where is your mindset going into this season? Now, I know obviously we want to see winning football. Obviously, we've been in the dumps for a long time. Are you more so on the side that you want to see progression from the team to where we win 6-7 games and you're like, oh, we're excited to go into next year with this core? Or are you more on the side of, hey, like, let's win 3 to 4 games, maybe 5, and say, hey, we put ourselves in a position with our first round pick to be able to draft a new franchise quarterback for this.
How do they start? Because if you're telling me they're only going to end up with 6 wins, I'm probably out on that. You know, I need them to win games early and be relevant. Like the Salah 7-10, they started 6-3, 7-4. We saw the vision. We saw Sauce and Garrett win Rookie of the Year. We saw Brees look great till he got hurt. Like, we saw a core that got you excited despite how poorly the collapse was ending that year, 7-10, right? It depends how it looks. It can't be Adam Gase's first year where they start 1-7 and then win a bunch of games against bad teams and finish 7-9. No one's going to be sold on that. It depends on the order of which they get these wins. Like, it's not just a win total; it's how it looks.
So have you done? I'm not sure. I haven't been up to touch with it, but have you done a season preview on how you view the games and like what's winnable and what's not? Like,
you want to do it right now? Here we go. Week 1, very winnable.
So
Week 2,
I think the Titans. I think the Titans is very winnable. I think the Packers is a sneaky winnable game too with no Micah as well.
Okay, so you could say that the Packers is winnable, fine. Lions and Bears, both tough. Browns, gotta win.
Yeah.
At the Pats, very tough. Home Dolphins, home Raiders. You have to win both if you're going to have a season. At Chiefs, really tough. Home Bills, really tough. But this is where, like, Salah beat the Bills twice. Like, you're going to have to win some games you're not supposed to and prove that you're actually punching above your weight.
Do you think we have a shot to split with the Bills in, like, say, week 18 because they might be sitting guys?
Yes, but that's a nightmare scenario. If they have 6 wins going into week 18, they sit their starters. That's the softest 7-10 of all time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's.
Here are the games they should win, Travis. I'll give you, like, the Jets should beat Tennessee, should beat Cleveland, should beat the Dolphins twice, so that's 4 wins. 5, their 5th win should be the Cardinals. Like, I gave you just 5 wins right there, right off the bat. Like, again, like Tennessee, Cleveland, Miami, the Raiders, that's 4. Dolphins again, that's 5. Cardinals, that's 6. I found 6 wins so far on teams I think the Jets roster-wise are the better football team against. Now I need them to steal some games they're not supposed to win. That assumes that they're going to be able to beat these teams that they should beat, which that's coaching. If you beat the teams you're supposed to beat. I don't know if the Jets are going to be able to do that.
Yeah. And then last question for you, because I gotta head out. I appreciate you taking my call. The last question for you is outside of the quarterback position on the offensive side of the ball, and then some parts of the defense, do you think, because I think we found our GM of the future. I think Muji has done an excellent job with roster creation and being able to facilitate certain moves that has allowed us to free up cap space, get players that were disregarded by some other teams. Do you think that there was any position that Muji, I wouldn't say neglected, but do you think that there's any position of need that you thought Muji would have addressed in the offseason a little different? Yeah, outside of kicker, anything else?
Backup quarterback potentially?
Yeah, like a veteran coming in? Yeah.
I mean, right now their backup is a 4th round pick.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked they haven't brought in a veteran, and that's why I let off my question when I was asking you before. I'm like, with there not being a veteran quarterback in the room, Geno's leash has to be pretty long. I mean, because I can't imagine week 10, they're trotting out Cade Klubnik. I just can't. I can't see it. So I think. Yeah, the kicker position and then the backup quarterback are probably the 2 positions that I'd agree with you. And then, honestly, would you consider the center position as something of need as well moving forward?
Yeah, it's probably something they address at some point in the draft this upcoming year. That's how I look at it. I think you also just interior offensive line depth in general. I think the Jets' backup linemen aren't very good.
Yeah, Xavier Newman, and then we got Mitchell back there, and then we have a Okorafor back there as well, backing us up. So it's our backup offensive line isn't great, but next year I think we free up $150 million, 3 first-round picks, if we don't make elite, I think it's an Aaron Glenn prove it year. And I agree with you with the notion that I think that they're going to ride Geno as long as they can.
Because the coach is on the hot seat. He was terrible in his first year.
Yeah, and I don't think Woody guaranteed. I think Muji's fine, but I don't think Woody guaranteed Glenn next year at all. Because
I don't think he's guaranteed next year to either of them. I just think if you read the tea leaves, it's very clear the owner has a lot of faith in Darren Muji, and he should. He's done a much better job at being the general manager than Glenn has done being the head coach.
Yeah, I agree. I think Geno's going to have. I think Aaron Glenn, it's forcing his hand to have Geno in there for a long time. And I think another reason why they didn't bring in a veteran is because they didn't want the controversy of, if Geno's not playing well, you could turn to, say, a Russell Wilson type. I think that has
to there's controversy now with Klubnik somewhere trying to drum up. Like, whoever the backup quarterback is, if Geno doesn't play well. People were screaming for Brady Cook last year.
Yeah, that's
how it goes. You're always the backup quarterback is always the most popular guy on this football team when the team is struggling.
Yeah, I just can't see them turning to. I can't see, like, if Russell Wilson was there or another veteran, I'd say so. But with Cade being there, I gotta imagine the Geno Smith leash is pretty long, like we were discussing earlier. So, all right, Jake, I appreciate you taking my call. It was a pleasure talking with you. When do you do call-in shows? Do you do call-in shows a lot, or?
Every day, Travis. Every day.
Every
10
day?
a.m., 4 p.m. We take calls. I'm putting you in the raffle for 2 because you're now a first-time caller, so you get two chances to win a prize. So you said you've been watching the show a while, though. So how did you consume the show if you didn't realize we do call-ins every day?
So I'm subscribed to you, but with work and everything like that, like, I see you're live. And sometimes when you have guests on the show, I don't know if you're doing call-in shows. I don't.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I see like clips and stuff like that. I try to tune in every day. But I sometimes, life.
No, that makes sense. I was just curious because you obviously have been watching the show for a while.
Yeah, no, yeah. I didn't know if the call-in shows were particularly set for one day because other Jets.
So typically, here's how it works, and I'm glad you asked this because I got a lot of new listeners the last few weeks here with the season being back. We're live every day. Typically, I'll have a guest for the first hour, and then we'll do calls for the second hour of the show. It's twice a day. I do 4 hours of Jet content a day. Typically, the first hour is either me solo or me with a guest. And then the back half of the show is calls and checking in on Beastbreaker, fondling his nutsack in his attic.
All right, brother. I appreciate you very much. I'll be tuning in and calling in a little more when I can, all right?
You got a great call, Travis.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Travis.
You have superpowers! You gotta fly over there!
Love it. We got another caller, baby. Good job by Travis. Willie says, and he's in the raffle for 2. Thank you, Willie. JD gutted the D-line, which killed Salah's defense, which AG inherited. Guys wanted out from the jump. Number 1 receiver went down. He messed up with Fields. Yes, had bad moments, but it's a new team. I say 6 to 7 wins, fire him. 8 and 9. If he wins 8 games, Willie, he's back. But this super chat kind of glosses over what went wrong last year. Aaron Glenn was the one who ran his mouth saying that it's all coaching, man. Will McDonald's going to do this and that, and Salah's staff was undisciplined, and we're holding guys accountable, and we're here to win now, and we're not the same old Jets after they started 0-3. He made it worse for himself. He got a mulligan. Many felt he didn't deserve it, but he did. So let's see if he's learned from his year 1 mistakes. If he wins 6 games, he should be fired. 7 is as borderline as it gets because it depends on how it looks. There's different types of 7 and 10s. We've seen it as Jet fans. Saw it with Gase, 7 and 9, and we saw the Salah 7 and 10s. Eric Mangini was 9 and 7. Do you feel good about the way that year ended in 2008? Not all seasons are the same based on the win total. It's how you get there. And win or lose, and if there's a lot of losing, there'll be plenty of pain. JakeAsman.com/shop to get your pain merch today. Who's ready to be in Vegas this week? I know I am. We're headed to Circa in 2 days, and we're signing up for contest weekend, and it's going to be epic. If you're interested in any of Circa's contests, this is the week. You need to lock in. Go to circasports.com, and you'll see all the details there. Again, circasports.com for all the information on each of the contests we've been talking about. We'll have some great guests joining us. I confirmed Jeff Parles hopping on with us this Thursday, live from the Radio Row at Circa Las Vegas. So get ready for some great content the remainder of the week. Aaron says, Jake, love you, but you're disregarding the fact after the week 1 loss last year, the team game up. Yes, Glenn was our coach, but the defense gave in. Aaron, love you. This is the dumbest comment that has ever been written in the history of this program. You're better than this, Aaron. Aaron Glenn's the head coach. If losing week 1 means the team gives up when they played well and still lost, that is the biggest indictment you just gave to Aaron Glenn as a head coach. You have to walk this comment back. Please apologize for this comment. There's no way you believe this. You're smarter than this, Aaron. You're smarter than this. If you think the team quit after week 1 when they narrowly lost to the Steelers, that tells you all you need to know about Glenn. I don't even believe this. I don't think they quit after week 1 last year. I think the Buffalo Bills went to school on the Jets after they saw their first game with Engstrand as a play caller with Fields. I think the Bills went to school on that, and they provided the blueprint for how to stop Justin Fields because he can't play. I don't think they quit after that. I think they were exposed for being a lousy coach team after that. They never readjusted. And they were also mentally weak. They started 0-7, and Glenn's coaching against the Denver Broncos in London's why they remained winless, why they dropped to 0-6. Why would a team quit after their first game, Aaron? I'm disregarding the fact that the team gave up. That's on the head coach if they gave up after one mother effing game. If they gave up after losing to Pittsburgh, a game where they played well, minus the Xavier Gibson fumble and Brandon Stevens dropping in Rodgers pick 6, if that's true what you're saying, then Glenn should have been fired. But this is not true what you're saying. You're trying to bootlick, and you can't even bootlick properly. And that is sad. Come on, Aaron. You're better than this. You don't believe this. You don't believe this. If the team gave up on Glenn after one game, then he should have been fired. But this is not true. They didn't give up on Glenn after one game. They just were exposed. That's what happened. Sean McDermott's staff took the Aaron Glenn, Steve Wilkes, Tanner Engstrand staff to the woodshed. And then all these other teams followed suit. We got the Todd Bowles special in week 3, where the Bucs had this big lead despite not having 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen and no Mike Evans, who got hurt in the third quarter of that game, if memory serves. And the Jets had this fake comeback that they couldn't obviously hold on to because after the great Will McDonald play, the defense collapsed. They didn't quit. They didn't give up. They just sucked. Aaron, come back to us, dude. You're smarter than this. You've been a channel member for 16 months. I know you don't believe this. Good God, man. Is Aaron doubling down on this? Oh, my God. I'm saying after week 1, Q already gave energy. He didn't want to be there, and it trickled down. No. You think Quinnen Williams requested a trade after they lost week 1? That's not what happened. I think Q didn't want to go through another rebuild because he's been a Jet since Adam Gase was the coach. He's been here for half the playoff drought. So at 0-7, yeah, he won it out. Come on, man. You're saying after week 1, Quinnen Williams didn't give enough energy and it trickled down to the rest of the team? You can't double down on stupidity. But that's what Aaron is doing here. Aaron, I thought you were better than this. Come on. You think Quinnen Williams quit when he sacked Aaron Rodgers on the first play of the opening game last year? They lose a close one, and then that was it. His energy was off. Again, let's say Aaron's right, though. If they lose to the Titans this year and the same thing happens, then you know what, Aaron, you're a genius, but here's why you're not actually a genius. Because it wouldn't be the players quitting. It'd be the head coach is just awful, or he lost the team. You can't lose the team after losing week 1. I think the Jets last year celebrated week 1 like they won. Oh, we played so well. It was a moral victory, and I called it out in real time. And then they no-showed against the Bills. They were down 35-3 in the fourth quarter of that game. It was embarrassing. First ever division game for Aaron Glenn, and you're down 35-3 in the fourth quarter? You kidding me? That was pathetic. Ralphie says Hopium season underway. What a wonderful time of year. I love it. Bring on all the Hopium. His comment for trying to justify the Hopium just makes Glenn look worse. Eric is up next. Hey, Eric.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, dude?
Just can't believe there's still people that still believe Aaron Glenn is absolved of responsibility last year with handpicking the entire staff, picking Justin Fields to be the quarterback. He kept so many guys and signed the solid guys, so that argument just holds absolutely no water in my opinion.
Yeah, he chose to bring all these guys back. We were like, really? Like, why?
And
he
cleaned house.
He thought they were a good team last year. He thought the Saleh staff was so bad, he was going to come in and wave a magic wand with his staff and fix it. There were so many Jet fans predicting this team to win 9 or 10 games. Now I got to hear he didn't get his players. What did you expect? They were always going to be bad. The same people bootlicking, for Aaron Glenn are the same people that called the show in August last year telling me they're going to win 10 games, and they were upset that I only had them winning 6.
Yeah, it's just unreal. It never ends, I guess. Like if it's not the Jets giving us a heart attack every year on Sundays, it's the fans with some outlandish takes. But such is life.
Let's just hope they win games early, Eric. At least week 1.
I mean, ideally, yeah, that'd be nice. Or else it's just going off the rails quick. But yeah, about like the season outlook, I suppose. I don't know. Like I feel like it's not uncommon to say, but the 6 or 7 win mark would kind of be like a no man's land for the Jets. Like you kind of want them to know what they are or just to be bad, I guess. But it's like this idea that they can look good and lose just doesn't exist for the course of the whole season. Like, yeah, you can have a couple games here and there, but like over the course of the whole year, we just never see that happen, right? Like you don't see a team that's like 2-15, for example, but they're covering the spread every week. It just never happens. So I think it's just an unrealistic position to hold if you want to say like, as long as we look good in the process of losing, then it's fine. Like it just
you got to win games. People were like, "Oh, they win 7 games." It's like they win 7 games. They probably weren't very good, and their coaching cost them.
That doesn't really do much for me if they win 7 games again.
No, Saleh did it twice with way worse quarterback play. That was more impressive than Aaron Glenn with Geno Smith potentially going 7-10.
And also, like, did we not learn anything? Like retroactively, Saleh should have been fired after the first 7-10 year or not the first one, the second one, the Rodgers blown Achilles year. Like he should have been canned after that. So why are we going to make the same mistake?
And Mike Vrabel would have been our head coach if they'd done it after 2023.
and Mike McCarthy would have been the head coach in 2019 with Sam Darnold, and who knows?
Sam would still be our quarterback today. And we'd be Super Bowl champions.
Probably would be. I can tell you that there wouldn't be
you're right. The
10 game or the 7 game max drought. It probably wouldn't still exist if the McCarthy was the coach, but whatever. Spilled milk.
You're right, Eric. Have you called before?
Yeah, like once in a blue moon. Like I usually call like once or twice a year when I feel the wind blowing in my direction.
Well, I'll tell you what. Great call. Call in more. You're a voice of reason.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You got it, Eric. I love it. Here's the thing. If Saleh was only going to get 5 games, then he should have been fired after 2023. It was a huge mistake. And I'm hoping that if Woody Johnson's learned anything, it's if you have any doubts on Aaron Glenn, if he's your guy, you fire him after the year because your job is never going to be more attractive than it potentially will be at the end of the season. Seriously, you got a GM who's well-respected around the league. You got 3 first-round picks. You got $100 million in salary cap space. You have a young nucleus that people agree is pretty good, right? Like, if you're unsure about Glenn, this would be the time you act at the end of the year. Like, Glenn needs to win you over. Not like, in baseball, tie goes to the runner. With this, tie works against Aaron Glenn. It's you move on if you don't have a definitive feeling we got our head coach. This offseason's too important. Do not make the Sam Darnold mistake again. Because if you let Glenn draft the quarterback and it doesn't work, then that QB is learning his second offensive system in 2 years after you have another year of Aaron Glenn and Arch Manning or whoever. Can't do it. You cannot do it in that scenario. Team Curry checks in. We are drafting a QB next year no matter what. Love your rants, Jake. It's a sign football season is about to start. I can't wait. LFG, jet up. Hope you saw training day. Team Curry, you're the man. Thank you. Thank you. Football season is back. We haven't had a true Glenn bootlicker in a while, though, so I've enjoyed today's show. It was fun. Hit the like button if you're just joining us. I'm going to count all the raffle names so people could be entered for their chance to win a multitude of prizes throughout the week. But today's prize is a great prize. It is a signed helmet by Hall of Famer, member of the New York Sack Exchange, retired number 73, Joe Klecko helmet, up for grabs on the program. So get ready for that. Here's what I need to do, though. I got to finalize counting these names. So I'm going to play you guys a short clip. And when we come back, we will spin the wheel of champions. So last call to enter the Asmaniac raffle. Back right after this.
But we start with the quarterback. All right, I'm going to get into it. We'll take your calls. I'm sure the Zach Truthers will try and make excuses for Zach Wilson. Enough. He sucked. He was god-awful. And tonight was Zach Wilson's last start as the Jet quarterback ever. Barring injury, he's done. I'm sorry. I hate saying it. It's not personal. He seems like a nice kid. He's not the answer. He's not. Sorry. I don't want to hear any other takeaway from this game. You want to blame the offensive line? Sure, blame them. They were not good tonight. You want to blame the defense? That's the laziest take, and we're not allowing it. The defense allowed 19 points. That's a bad effort. They're on the field the entire game because this quarterback stinks. And I like Zach Wilson. I've defended Zach Wilson. I've tried to be patient with Zach Wilson, but it's enough. Zach Wilson truthers, he stinks. The guy is terrible. He stinks. All right? Stop defending him. He's got the lowest passer rating in the NFL this season, the lowest completion percentage in the NFL this season. He had the lowest passer rating in the NFL last season. He had the lowest completion percentage in the NFL last season. He hasn't gotten better. I was patient with Zach because he does have talent, because he does have potential, but it's not working. It is not working. He is not the guy. This team is too good to be 7-8. All right, this defense had a, quote, bad game. They gave up 19 points. 19. How dare the defense do anything? Come on, man. The quarterback stinks. He's not the guy. He has not improved. He has not gotten better. He is the same quarterback we saw last year. I defended him last year because we saw flashes. You see that from rookies. Then they get better. You know who got better? Trevor Lawrence got better. All right, watching some of the throws he made tonight. You know who got better? Justin Fields got better. Zach Wilson hasn't gotten better, period. You need your quarterback to make plays. They had 3 points against a Jaguars defense that allows over 23 a game. They're a bottom third defense. You're at home. Your season's on the line. And you scored 3 freaking points. Enough. I'm not dealing with the Zach Wilson truthers. If you're a Zach Wilson truther, you're out. You're not on the show. You're gone. We're not doing it. If your takeaway from this game is not that the quarterback is holding this team back, I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you. Seek help. I know I need help because I sat in MetLife and I'm going to have pneumonia from this garbage. Enough. I'm tired of it, man. This team is too good to be 7-8. They were 6-3. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. They have everything in place besides a franchise quarterback. And I don't know if Mike White's the guy, but I know he gives the team a better chance to win the last 2. And then I'll bring him back, and I'll bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, or I'll beg for Aaron Rodgers to come here, or I'll beg Derek Carr to come here. I don't know, but I do know the answer is not you run it back with Zach Wilson because, Jake, he needs more time. Enough. He's not playing well. He's playing awful right now. And the second any quarterback comes in, the offense magically looks better. Explain that. Oh, but it's Mike LaFleur's fault. Stop. You're embarrassing yourself. Enough.
A lot of that aged pretty well. Unfortunately, they did go and get Aaron Rodgers, and we know how that went. God. How about the fact that Fields at that point was actually playing better than Zach Wilson? Now I don't know who I'd rather have. If you're giving me Tanner Engstrand as my OC, I might actually take Zach Wilson as my quarterback last year. Unreal. That was the worst game ever, by the way. That was a miserable night. That was the Strebler game. By the way, you see CJ Uzama announced his retirement tonight? He was a big key of that Strebler game. He caught the big pass that Strebler threw, and the crowd erupted. Unreal. I got some memberships here that came through during that. So thank you to Papa Jet. Papa, I got your email, and I received the Venmo from your son, Luke. So Papa Jet is officially joining us at Beast Feast, a.k.a. Jets and the Dolphins on October 25th. Let's go. I have some other rants, too. I'll play this because I need like another minute here. This is a rant where I actually defended Robert Saleh. So I'm not always critical of Jet head coaches. When they earn the benefit of the doubt, I will actually defend them. Like this time. Hit the join button on the left-hand side if you're watching from your computer. JJ with a super chat. You said we're judged on W's and L's. If I bring up how many W's Salah has, you say context matter. Context, we look like a bad team after the bye. Yeah, JJ, I understand that. What do you want me to say? I'm killing them for how they played today. I'm acknowledging they stole this one. So you want me to sit here? You want to fire Robert Saleh when the team's 4-3? What do you want me to say? They did not play well today, but they won. All right? So I'm not going to sit here and do doom and gloom when they have a win over the Eagles this year, a win over the Bills. They nearly beat the Chiefs. And by the way, they're 4-3. They have a winning record. I'm not giving up on the season or firing the head coach when they are 4-3. One more time. 4-3. They won today. God. What a dumb comment. What do you want me to say? Salah's Vince Lombardi. We know there are limitations with this head coach. We understand that this team is still a work in progress. He's also playing with his backup quarterback. All right? He didn't pick Zach Wilson. He's supposed to have Aaron Rodgers. God. Oh, my God. I need to take a sip of water or get some alcohol on me. Stand by. Let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. You know, it's funny. They were 4-3. And Salah had wins over the Eagles already and the Bills. And Jet fans wanted him fired. Is Aaron Glenn going to come close to doing? Again, I don't think Salah was a good head coach. But at one point, the Jets in the second year were 3 games above 500. I don't know if the Jets ever get 3 games above 500 with this guy. I hope they do. That's why I talk about being fake good. Like, start the year decent. Be 4-2 and surprise us. Willie says, by November, they lost 5 games by 6 points or less. Besides Buffalo and Dallas game, team was actually trying. It just went to complete crap after beating Bengal and Brown wins. You don't get credit for the team trying. That's the expectation. The Jets last year, Willie Vision, set a record for having the worst first half point differential since the year 2000. They were not competitive in nearly enough games. And there were games they were competitive and they lost because of the head coach. So we don't just get to like wash that one away. Again, it's last year. It is what it is. But like, you know, that caller who called in is like, oh, you're not giving Glenn a chance. It's like, yeah. I don't know what you want me to do. Like I'm giving him a chance because he's the coach. I'm rooting for him. But it's like, if you want me to say positive things that I think the Jets are going to be good this year, I can't lie to the audience. I don't think people watch the show want me to lie. I think that's why we have the following we do. I just want them to really win week 1 because I know so many of our listeners are going to be there and we're going to have a blast. I had a great meeting today with the people at Barstool Nashville. They're going to be bringing in speakers so you guys can hear the live broadcast that we're going to do at the event. Plus the DJ is going to be there blasting music. I think there'll be a live band. It's going to be insane. RSVP if you're coming down. Bear Cuts Hair gifted a membership. Thank you, Bear Cuts. Georgie Mack says, put me in for the raffle. These rants are amazing. I appreciate you, Georgie. That might be a good side project. Like take some of the post-game rants over the years and do a rant montage. I got you down, Georgia. We're going to go to the Wheel of Champions shortly here. Last call for everyone. Bear Cut says, how much are the pain hats? And also, other barbers in here, we should set up at the meetup October 25th and give free cuts. I'm coming from Pittsburgh. Hell yeah. How much are pain hats? Let me tell you. Pain hats are $29.99. However, it's 25% off if you're a Patreon member. Pain shirts are $25 because for whatever reason, my merch store tells me it's more expensive to make a hat than it is a shirt. Let's see. Mr. Bonesy says if Mike White doesn't break his rib, we're going to the playoffs. I completely agree with you. And by the way, we were vindicated on LaFleur. In that rant, I talked about how every quarterback besides Zach looked better with LaFleur. Mike LaFleur is now a head coach. Like, the signs were there. Zach Wilson could. It's why, like, Bonesy, I know you, like, want to simp for Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas lost me for good when they went into the year with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback and Zach Wilson as the backup. It was a disgraceful decision that I went back and watched the video I did when the Jets actually got Rodgers. And I remember saying, now they need to get a backup. It was so obvious. Not that we all knew Rodgers was going to go down and miss the whole year after 4 plays, but it was just so obvious that you couldn't, under any scenario, rely on Zach to be the backup. And they did. And it cost them a chance to go into the playoffs, not just in 2022, when if Mike White stayed healthy, they could have made the playoffs. They were good enough with better quarterback play to possibly still make it in 23. They were. They really were. They were 4-3 in 2023. If they had a better if they had Carson Wentz as their backup, I believe the Jets make the playoffs in 2023. Again, look at some of the games they lost that year. The brutal one to the Chargers on Monday night. I was at that, then flew out to Vegas. That's where the Asmaniac meetup was. They lost that game at the very last second to the Raiders. The Fail Mary game against the Dolphins. Tim Boyle started like that. Oh my God, that defense was still good enough to make the playoffs that year with average or even slightly below quarterback play, even without Rodgers. Brutal. Georgie says, I'm the real Georgie. Are tailgate tickets in Tennessee still available? To my knowledge, they are. So this tailgate I'm hosting, I am not the creator. The Barstool event, I could speak fluently about it because it's my event. The tailgate is with Game Day Flight Crew, but I believe tickets are still available. Everyone go follow Game Day Flight Crew on social media. Lou and Danny, who run it, do a great job. They're huge Jet fans. Lou was formerly with Gotham City Crew. So this is going to be a ton of fun. Darnell says, not winning more than 6 games. Check the schedule. I'll find more than 6 wins. You ready? Week 1, win. Week 2, win. Week 3, win. Week 4, win. Week 5, win. Week 6, win. Week 7, win. That's more than 6. Week 8, win. Week 9, that's a win. Week 10, that's a win. Week 11, W. Week 12, obviously. Week 13, Beast, you think the Jets will beat the BYE?
Boys, incoming bomb!
That's a win. Week 14, W. 15, of course. 16, no shit. Week 17, absolutely. Week 18, yeah. So, suck it, Darnell. I just found 17 wins plus the bye for 18. Jet up.
Jet up. Let's go.
Are we ready for the Wheel of Champions? That's the question. I have the answer. The answer is yes. Let's say hello to the master of raffle ceremony. He goes by many names on this program. Today we call him Mexican Beast for God knows what reason.
Beast, like Robo Beast.
Los mexicanos, let's get to El Wheel of Campeones. Mijas, los 30 El Wheel of Campeones, please. We're going to get one winner getting the Joe Klecko. Count it down for me at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, spin! Go! Go there now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, contact!
Thanks, you communist douchebag. It's time for that daily Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Well done, Mexican Beast. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on the Wheel of Champions, we have all the names from today's show. Someone's going to win a Joe Klecko signed helmet. If it's you who wins, you have to email me, asmanjake@gmail.com, your name and address, so I know where to send your prize to. Good luck to all. Our winner of a Klecko helmet is Panama Jet. Let's go, Panama Jet. Hit it. J-E-T-S, Jets. Woo! Panama Jet, who I believe lives in H-Town, just like our guest Gunny, who started the show with me, does. Panama Jet, congratulations. Big-time supporter of the program, and I truly appreciate it. So, Panama, shoot me an email, and I will make sure we get your Klecko helmet shipped out to you this week. You guys are the best. Thanks for watching. Fun show. Great calls. Some new callers, which we love seeing. Nightbot tried to attack. We're not going to stand for that. Beast, we'll take him down together.
Gracias. Adios, amigos.
Adios.
Wait.
I messed up last year. I was a huge butthole.
Yes, you were, AG. La puerta negra me espera, detrás de ti, detrás de ti. La puerta negra me espera.
Beast Pack, you are no match for me. Ha 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 ha.
I don't want to be a butthole.
Ha 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 ha.
Beast, like Robo Beast.
Not today, Nightbot. Not today.
Adios.
Adios, Beast. You have a great night.
Let's glide. Put the G on me.
Have a good night, everyone. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Robbie Sabo. Go Jets.
Hey, Asmaniacs, make sure to hit the like button and keep on supporting the Jake Asman Show.
That's right, Beast. If you don't subscribe to Jake Asman Show, the Jets will never win another game. Go Jets!